stand alone in the streets with a pack. I gotta make it. School of hard knocks, I sat back. I graduated. All I need is a mic and a track. It's back to basics. You cannot find her X on the map. I'm in the mix. I stand alone in the streets with a pack. I gotta make it. School of hard knocks, I sat in the back. I graduated. All I need is a mic and a track. It's back to basics. You cannot find her X on the map. I'm in the mix. How would death have a purpose? That's a meaning of life. But when life have a purpose, that's a meaning of Christ. Don't get caught up in the hype, the money and ice. Things happen for a reason. God does not throw dice. Got that God body essence, but I'm not pro-life. I am a different type of rapper, maybe not so tight. Nick and Night, niggas spark that dead. Hold the hand of an angel while we walk through hell. This is an X, nigga, for preaching the same. Definition of man is flawed, so keep the laws, being decipher a plan. You can call it the Quran, you can call it Quran. Just say Allah is the greatest, like Ali with his hands. Now it's me against the world. Leo and this girl going back to the future. Mrs. Cleo in the swirl. Bipolar, dyslexic, this is Theo with the word. I am city of God. I got Rio in my nut. I stand alone in the streets with a pack. I gotta make it. School of hard knocks, I sat in the back. I graduated. All I need is a mic and a track. It's back to basics. You cannot find her X on the map. I'm in the mix. I stand alone in the streets with a pack. I gotta make it. School of hard knocks, I sat in the back. I graduated. All I need is a mic and a track. It's back to basics. You cannot find her X on the map. I'm in the mix. Come with me. I never met Machiavelli, but I can still hear his voice trying to tell me spark that seed. Come from a different breed, brought from a different creed. All you gotta do is breathe. If you ain't God body, all you gotta do is leave. Amen. Can I get a hallelujah, please? That means I'm leading like the air, moving through the trees. Don't go against the grain like you Thelma and Louise. It's like a blessing from God, but I ain't have to sneeze. A key maker, holding all the master keys. It's not about the magazines and limousines. Niggas will do anything except keep their spirit clean. I almost lost my whole head, I was guillotined. Chasing money, getting hid, niggas sipping lean. No, I'm a thoroughbred, I'm gonna get supreme. Plus Notorious said, this is all a dream. In the streets with a pack, I gotta make it. School of hard knocks, I sat in the back. I graduated, all I need is a mic and a track. It's back to basics, you cannot find her X on the map. I'm in the mix, I stand alone in the streets with a pack. I gotta make it. School of hard knocks, I sat in the back. I graduated, all I need is a mic and a track. It's back to basics, you cannot find her X on the map. I'm in the mix. This is another
Yeah, man. You haven't walked away from me. We do what the fuck we gotta do, man. By any means. Ain't that right? We take care of our shit.
Mate. Mary had a little.
You think I like this shit? You think I want to spend the rest of my life pimping your pimple country ass? Well, not me. Fucking hate you.
And everywhere that Mary went,
I hate this shit.
Mary had a little lamb. Her shit was white as snow. And everywhere that Mary went, the spot is sure to blow. Those clothes, souls, flows will bring pimp on you hoes. No emotions in these fresh ass clothes, Lord knows. But Mary had a little lamb with making soda, me fire, grant every desire. Pain and misery, shot rack, clackety clack. With the heart of the city is black, we bust back. Niggas step back, pumping grounds out the black act. The fuck do you expect? I was born black, but Mary had a little lamb. Her shit was white as snow. And everywhere that Mary went, the spot was sure to blow. Escobar, Pablo, bitch, wipe your nose. Mary had a little lamb, nigga.
If you're using a cannabis vape, it should be the purest form of flower. That's the standard Cresco holds themselves to. Cresco's liquid live resin is fresh frozen whole flower with nothing added and nothing taken away. Carts this pure guarantee a premium cannabis experience every single time. Visit CrescoCannabis.com to learn more and ask for Cresco's liquid live resin at your local dispensary. These products are intended for persons 21 plus in Illinois. Individual experiences may vary.
Talk shit. Recorded live.
What up? We back.
I told you we'd be back. We always back. It's Hood X Radio, Hood X Talk Radio. It's your boy, K Blau, Hood X. We are once again live. Today is July 27, 2015. As usual, I am joined by no other than my brother Pomo.
What's up, what up?
Hood X Revolution. What's good, Pomo?
Same old shit, different day. The normal way to live. Yeah, same old shit, different day. Just gonna get into these mathematics with this slick. We talk about the nigga next to you, comma. Yeah,
nigga next to you, comma.
Yeah, some people might not be able to comprehend. Some people might be able to comprehend, but we're gonna make it easy, understandable tonight. Anything you want to add on before we start?
Well, I want to mention that today's show is sponsored by Hood X Radio. As always, that is, we just got it cracking back up. Hood X Radio, Hood X Talk Radio, two different things. What you listen to now, this is Hood X Talk Radio. We break down the lit, we break down, topics of discussion. But Hood X Radio is all the latest hip hop, R&B, underground, all the artists who sign up for Hood X. If you're trying to get your music spin on Hood X Radio, sign up at hoodx.com, upload your music. But go to hoodx.com, listen to Hood X Radio as well as Hood X Talk Radio. We have right now we got well over at least 40, 50 shows published to Hood X Talk Radio. And again, we have our live music playing on Hood X Radio that you can listen to 24/7, 365, internationally, worldwide, international radio show. Hood X Radio is live 24/7, 365, hosted by hoodx.com and your boy, personally, yours truly, K Blau Hood X. All right, so I also want to point out we are joined by Brother Gabriel, a.k.a. Brother Manifestation, Carbo Light out of California. What's good, brother? Are we joined by Brother Manifestation?
Yeah, he might be on
chill mode. Brother Man.
Whoa. What's up? Smith had me on mute. I had myself on mute.
Okay,
yeah, it's good. It's good out here. And I just feel like I just got out on 79th Avenue. 2 years, 27 days, 79th Avenue, and me are no longer together anymore. Official.
That's what's up. You got rid of that karma or the block.
Yeah. But me and Winston are out here in the land, just checking out the sunset, listening to Winston the dog. From Mountain.
Where you at, in Cali? Yeah, California?
Cali, yeah. Yeah, I'm in Cali.
Okay.
Yeah, Northern California. What's going on? Hood X Evolution, Hood X Radio. Break down this lit, man. Go to the blog, Carbo Light. Carbo Light. Look up that Valley. Hold on, I got wifey on the other line. Sister Manifestation.
All right, well, we're going to handle that. I want to send a shout out.
Love you, Paul and Blau.
For sure. Much love. All love. Send a shout out to Brother Ben Real from Central Indiana. We got Brother Ben Real on the line. What's good, Ben Real?
Man, it's all gravy, man. Blowing back, chilling like Eskimo toes. You understand?
For sure.
Blow it back on.
Huh?
Would you blow it back on?
Shit, some of the finest Reggie the city has to offer.
Oh, this nigga just say Reggie, huh?
It's that phone.
Reggie, we gonna.
We're gonna make that Reggie pop.
It got to kick to it.
Let's keep it moving. I want to make sure we get through this lid. I want to break down because we've been trying to get this lid in for about 3-4 days now. So it's a very important lid. So I want to see what was all that blockage. Because obviously, this is something important, a very important topic we got to break down. So I want to get into the lit tonight is the nigga next to you, karma, which is a lot of the situations that brothers find themselves in, even sisters find themselves in, surrounded by people that's next to you, and you become who you hang around. You are who you hang around, whether you like it or not. And so you got to be careful around the people that you're around because what happens to them also happens to you. And so you want to make sure that the people you hang around is of a good influence and
and helping you, and they're an asset, not a liability. And before we go into the chamber, I just want to tell Brother Poe, anything you want to add on to the nigga next to you, Carl, before we go into the chamber?
Yeah, a lot of brothers think, like, I ask you a question, like, okay, as far as that they're concerned, what if I'm positive? What if I'm on a higher vibration? You know what I'm saying? Should I be able to, not catch the karma? And I told them a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, that's not true. You know what I'm saying? What you're doing is wasting a lot of energy trying to balance balance this shit. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you're gonna get scratched regardless. You might not get hurt, but you're gonna get scratched. You're gonna get a star. If you don't get seriously damaged, you're gonna catch a star. You're gonna know. You know what I'm saying? And the one thing to do is raise that person next to you in vibration, or leave them the fuck alone. But you're gonna get scratched if you don't get fucked up. Either way it goes. But no, that's all I want to add. Take a lot of energy balancing that karma. If you're a positive person, you're with a negative person. A positive person, really, you ain't gonna have that much fun because you're using a lot of your energy balancing this negative energy next to you. So you become tired and shit and confused all of a sudden for no reason why they bobbing their head, kicking it. Now go ahead, B. Let's start the first list.
Okay, the first chamber say the notion that you are responsible for the karma of the person who is next to you. So
okay.
You say I'm responsible for the karma of the person that's next to me?
Well, it depends on how you put it. You know what I'm saying? I'll let you, iterate that real quick. And
it depends on what type of mind you think with. If you think with a reactive mind, then you just kind of, when you sit next to people, you just kind of fall under their energy, and you just sit back and and let them kind of guide you into a direction that that they want to take you in. Whether see how far you're gonna be able to go. The notion that you kind of responsible for. If not, then they responsible for your karma. That's just kind of how it goes. If you sit next to somebody, even with your wifey, or somebody in a relationship with, that if you're not responsible for their karma as well as your own, then they're responsible for it. So if you think with a proactive mind, then you're gonna pick up and just you're gonna kind of move the situation in the direction that you want it to go in, versus sitting back and letting somebody take you, let somebody else take you down a road that you might not necessarily, want to go down.
So you kind of saying, like, if I'm in the car and somebody bogus, or, got bad karma hovering over them, that I'm responsible for it, or, well, I got bad karma. And I'm responsible for the person karma next to me, is that this person might not have as worse karma as I got coming, but they still gonna get scratched, right? They still gonna be in the car when the car accident happens. They still gonna be getting shot at when niggas get to shooting at you, or they still gonna, right, yada, whatever. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
But I'm knowing willfully, knowing I'm on some ruthless shit, and and then I'm driving down one of the hot ass spots with my shorties and wifey in the car. I'm responsible for their karma, right? That's what you're saying?
Exactly. You're responsible. I mean, if the people that hear this thought, you know what I'm saying? Usually the people that hear this thought, the people that gravitate towards this information, they usually are the person who thinks the highest level of reasoning in the room. So, then you be responsible. The people that's around you don't think, like a soldier. They don't think like they proactive. They think reactive. So as long as you have that proactive mind, then you're responsible for that karma. You're responsible for the situation. You the one that's got to guide it in the direction that you know is gonna be best. Because if not, then
it's gonna be chaotic.
Exactly, it's gonna turn into chaos every time.
So do you still hang with these people that you can't really control? The reaction.
You don't hang with them, but at the same time, I see what they want. I'll always be a good host. I always, say, hey, what's going on? I keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? But
you said if they can't respond right, then they stay in reactive mind. You said basically to keep it off Steve Harvey under the show host act, and then bounce.
Basically,
you already see where that's kind of going towards. You know, he just smacked her. He ran out the house. You already see where it's kind of going. You know, she got brothers and shit, so you already kind of see where it's going. You ain't gonna run out the house with him, and you kind of like dip off your own way, or you gonna go out there run with him. And you know, she calling her brothers these GD disciple cheese, and you just right there running with them because you came with them, and now they pull up on you. How did this go? Whose karma is affected? Who? The one that smacked the GD chief sister, or the one that's running with him?
I wouldn't even. That's what I'm saying. I'm responsible for my own. I won't even find. You don't even find me in a situation like that.
So you're not going out the door with him. You're not running with him. You're gonna kind of let him go about his business, and you skate the other way, right?
Right. Once you start describing a situation like that, once you go into a certain level of that chaos like that, I can't even relate to this shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't even be.
Buff off Dr. Spark.
I don't even be. You know what I'm saying? I don't even be around no shit like that because I'm fully aware that a lot of brothers that test that water, they'll test out that water. They're gonna see. You know, they want to see. Some people just gotta see what it look like. You know what I'm saying? I can just look at the situation and see the whole. How it's gonna play out the next 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. You know, I just gotta see it. So I don't. You know, I can just back the fuck up and say, you know what? You know, I'm gonna go handle what I gotta handle. You know, cause.
So as far as slick is pertaining to brothers out there with or sisters with bad karma, you know, it's different levels of karma. They already gotta be kill. You know, it's just stuff like flat tire in the middle of nowhere, accidents when you just get a new car. You know, all type of stuff. Get a fresh girlfriend, somebody fresher come take her, and then you know, vice versa, stuff like that. And it's different karma, but what you gotta understand is when you're in a car or in a situation to hang around a person that's creating bad karma for themselves, you kind of won't know it, but you'll see signs of it. You kind of want to give them they distance, and when you do deal with them on your level, on your playing field, where you contain the chaos or the reactiveness. You know what I'm saying, that they're gonna portray. You know, because like, you know, it's all type of scenarios. So if you know you've done a lot of stuff, kind of, you know, at least try to stop the karma and reiterate good karma in your life, or just don't put yourself in situations with shorties and, you know, mothers and stuff like that, family, when you know you out here bogus. You know what I'm saying? You just shot at some niggas the other day, or you just, you know, stole some shit from your mom or your daddy. You know, kind of let that shit wear off a little bit before you jump in the car with a nigga that's unexpected of it. And for the brothers who on the opposite end may be receiving the karma, like I said, you kind of know, you know, the brother gonna tell you his stories, his horror stories, or the sister gonna tell you her horror stories, and you kind of know, like, damn, there's a lot of stuff whizzing over your head. Let me give you a little air till I get my stuff together. Then you want to add love?
Yeah. Also, you know, you take a situation where people just live in the same building or live next to somebody who got bad karma, you know, and you know, whether it's beef, you know, people moving in and out of the building, stuff like that, you know, you want to be, you know, say I've seen situations like that, you know, you living with some, you know, you live in a situation like, you know what I'm saying, people I know that live together, or people who live in the same building, or, you know what I'm saying, that they just be bad karma, that energy, you know what I'm saying, you always want to make sure the place where you rest, wherever, you always want to make sure you have just a place just for yourself where you can, you know what I'm saying, you meditate and just know, you know what I'm saying, know that that's your section that's carved out for yourself, you know what I'm saying, because a lot of times, even in, you know, people live in apartment buildings and stuff, people live downstairs and somebody who's making a lot of noise, stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, if you ain't got a proper place to rest, that helps you just give you that grounding, then you find yourself.
It's like staying up for 3 or 4 days, never getting no sleep, with a mind become delirious. That's how it feels. Like you're up for a week straight. Can you think straight? And
it's like when you come out, sometimes you see a situation, even like you come out of church, you be with your grandma or your auntie, you come out of church, and y'all get in the car and y'all riding, you know what I'm saying, you went to church with your grandma, you know, she feeling good, and the nigga, you know, she sitting at the red light, and the nigga roll right up to you, and you bump into some wild shit like, Pop said, bump that pussy, don't bump that pussy. You sitting next to your grandma in the car, you know what I'm saying, they sit right next to you bumping that shit. And what happened is that you gonna feel that energy, even when they drive off, it's still left with you, right? That energy still left with you.
Still that energy is heightened, especially like what he's trying to say is like if you're in a car, like if you cut the radio on, you're riding by yourself, you really don't feel it. But when you're in a car with your babies and your grandma and her sister, and then you cut the radio on and you feel that energy, talking about I'm gonna lick it low, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna smack it high and shit like that, or I'm gonna, you feel that shit because you kind of want to turn the shit down and cringe, like whoa, because you can see how it's reflecting the energy coming off that radio is reflecting off your grandma's face or your children's essence. You see what I'm saying? It's not, it don't look right. You see, but if you ever want to test that type of shit, just put your grandma in the car next to you and put on WGCI or whatever the black station is wherever you're from. You'll feel that energy. And what Blau was saying and I'm saying is that we're energies before we're a manifestation. We're energies before we're a physical being. We're energy being energetic or energy field beings, base field beings before anything. We are the effect is what you see when you see the physical body. The cause is actually energy dynamic. That's why when you be around certain people, things go smoothly. Then when you be around other people, things go roughly. If this person has a car, this person has a car, they both get the car at the same time. This person's car is fucked up. This person's car is still clean. You're not the car, but you're the energy. Imagine you inside the car. That's the energy inside the car. So imagine the car is your physical body and you is the energy dynamic in the car controlling it. See what I'm saying? So when you see a person like a pretty woman and a not so pretty woman, the thing is, what happened is she might have a beautiful outside or beautiful face, but she has an ugly soul. So in her ugly soul, a not so beautiful woman might be like, she's so beautiful. I would like to be like her, but I wonder why she's always miserable, angry, mad, and alone. And it's not that it's her outer beauty that got her there. It's her inner ugliness that got her mad, angry, and alone and stuff like that because she's not a good person on the inside. So it draws that type of energy towards her, loneliness, misery, angry, brothers playing and shit like that. And so on the outside, a brother might assume she got 1,000 niggas, and 9 times out of 10 she don't got one because of the ugliness of her soul, and vice versa for the male. And a not so attractive female might have a nice brother, and it might say, "Damn," the female might say, "Damn, how she get him?" Because she has a beautiful soul, so she attracted that energy towards her. You see what I'm saying? So go ahead, Blau. We can go into number 2 unless you want to add on.
No, I can go into the chamber. Bring it back up. Hold on 1 second. All right, here we go. Number 2. Time is considered the blending of energies through synchronicity. The person next to you is blending energy with you. Therefore, if they have a bad karma, then you will have bad karma. If they have good karma, then you will have good karma.
Okay, now that's just the natural flow of it. So you know what I'm saying? But if you're in a car with a person like that with bad karma and you're a highly vibrational person or God body or goddess or something like that, what you're doing is you're overriding that bad karma, but it's only for a certain amount of length and time. You can't be around that too long before your energy field gets weak. Or you get out the car and walk 10, 20, 30 feet away from their ass and stand up for 30 minutes, smoke a cigarette, do whatever, walk back and forth, try to regroup. You got to regroup, but you can't stay connected to them for 5 feet within a 5 feet radius too long. They study going to be draining your shit, and then that's when something happens. Now, you might not get injured, like I said before, because you're a high vibrational frequency, meaning you have a purpose, or you are a purpose, meaning that God see you as purpose and not animals, so you're not just going to die by a mere accident or anything crazy. You're going to die when you willingly, subconsciously do, is that you got to get away from that person. And if you don't, then they're going to deplete your energy, and then you're not, like I said, get injured, but you're going to get scratched. You know what I'm saying? You might walk away with a scratch on your face, or a fine, pretty female, that's a nice little scratch, or a broken leg for a brother where he can't get his stamp on, he walking with a cane, but you're going to get scratched. You ain't going to die, but you're going to get scratched. And the blending of the energy, you got to think of it like the Visa logo with the 2 circles that's intertwining in the middle. One's going clockwise, the other going counterclockwise, and in the middle is where they meet. Every time they meet, each energy field strand combines with yours and then go out to your outer atmosphere, your outer protection. So if they got you blending in the middle with bad karma, you having spurts of bad karma smearing all over your energy field. So it's gonna kind of catch, you know what I'm saying? This bullshit gonna start happening to you, or gonna run into frustrated situations for a while. But that's how it looks. It looks like 2 circles spinning, and in the middle they combine like the MasterCard.
The Vesica Pisces is the symbol, I believe.
Right. And in the middle, you combine in the energy, and then it's not a lot of, you have a strand and phase of their energy combining with yours like a bubble. So on the side of you is like a bubble, but you have that karma in between your field. And then as you spend more time with them, it speeds up. And as it speeds up, if your color is yellow and their color is black, then they're going to smear your shit. It's going to be gray or it's going to turn black. Because, the smear is going to, like if you take dots and you go slow, you can see the separation in the dots. So when you spin the wheel faster, the dots just turn into a black line. That's how it looks in your energy field. So like I say, 30, 40, 100 feet away from the motherfucker and regroup. Then go back at it. These are things you got to be aware of, because the only way to tap into the energy field and to see how it looks is through the imagination. Because the practice can't see what you see. You can't taste the apple like you taste the apple. So he's only going to teach you what he knows. But you are born infinite. You're still going to have that infinity in your DNA. So it's not going to come from you from the external books, school, and all that shit. It's going to come from inside. And we're here as a reflection to pull some of that out. And once you pull a little bit out, as us helping you, you pull the rest out on your own, because it's all with the imagination. It's the key to see the soul. If I see a bogus broad or bogus nigga walk past me, and I think about him 10 minutes later, it's going to be colors that come up. And if it's like my matrix, if it's black or gray, I mean, that's motherfucker bogus. If it's like maybe...
Right, like sometimes you might see somebody who's beautiful and out there, when you think about them later on in your mind, it'd be like a gray fog over it. It just kind of fuck up how the natural beauty, how they look, inside your third. I was experienced that.
And for females, if you want to understand a little bit closer, it's like when a man sprays the perfume on, you kind of think about him, you smell that perfume, he might hit it tomorrow, but if you think about him and you musty, he ain't hitting shit.
Yeah, cologne.
Right, cologne, yeah.
Right,
cologne. Right. But if he ain't smelling too good, you really equate him with that smell, and you smell nasty, and you know just how it go. So yeah, it's like that. But you combine it in energy, so you got to really be careful. And it's even if you surprise the friends, family, or other members, try not to if they're bogus, but you're forced to be around them. Kind of spend less time around them as possible, or try to show them the effect of their bullshit. They gonna see it once you point it out. You say you smack that little girl. You got some shit coming. And he's like, yeah, nigga, I hear it all the time. So I'm gonna give you a couple of days to get your goddamn karma, effect popped off, and then call me once, it's over with. Then we can kick it a little bit more, maybe you learn, or fuck it, I don't even try not to be around like Blount say, entertain it, be inbound. But you don't want to get scratched. And watch out. I know if you get them whipped and you got some hot niggas in your car already, automatically the police gonna pull you over. And this is evident, because I used to hang with a hot motherfucker, and every time I got around a car, the police pulled me over. The first 3 times I thought it was kind of coincidence on some hard head shit, but the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th time, I'm like, hell no, that's this nigga energy. Because when I get him out my car, the police don't fuck with me. As soon as I put him in the motherfucker, they fuck with me. That's his energy. What else could it be? What the fuck else could it be? So go ahead, B. Anything you want to add?
No, we go to the third chamber.
All right.
Third chamber. If you are hanging with 4 broke people, guess who will be the 5th? If you are hanging with 5 rich people, guess who will be the 6th? We've all heard this before.
Well, basically, in a nutshell, it's like when you broke in the field, the energy field, a lower vibration, a lower broke field, you know what I'm saying? It's a field that everyone around you carries, and it's going to kind of hold you down, because if you enforce it by the people you're around and the thoughts you have, a warning, you study and enforce the brokenness, so your subconscious is telling you, oh, you like want. Okay, let me give you want. And that's all you're going to get is want. So it's like the magic genie with your subconscious is like the iceberg that you can perceive the tip of the iceberg, or the powers at the bottom, and the matter next to you. So you got to be, real careful about how you, will for things. And if you broke, you hang with these broke brothers, it's going to be like that. Then you get around some brothers with money. You might not be rich, but you're not going to allow yourself to be as broke. So you're going to make sure you got something, you know what I'm saying? Because this is the talk, this is the atmosphere, this is the energy dynamic. So it's going to put you on that level, or in a position, places, and situations that come up. If you hang around all 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 broke motherfuckers, they're going to all talk that broke. It's going to go into your dreams when you lay down. It's going to manifest into the next day when you wake up. The ideal of being broke. They write a movie about this shit. The ideal of being broke. And the nigga standing there with his hands in his pocket. Funny shit. Anything you want to add, Blood?
Yeah, when the difference when you live in abundance and you want to see other people live in abundance. You know what I'm saying? The difference when you broke, it's true. Like you celebrate and you fight to keep that broke mentality. So you do things to hemorrhage your money, or you do things like I've seen people. You know what I'm saying? That to be broke and they want to get some money, they do shit to hemorrhage to celebrate the fight to keep that broke mentality, man. And it's like they gotta spend it. It's like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like when you live life in abundance and you know, see you're around people live life in abundance and everybody understand that, you know, there's a purpose and there's a goal and they trying to help you get to that point of abundance. You know, then they help you out and you can help them out, and it's a cold. It's like a, you know, it's a you know, one hand washes the other.
All love.
You know what I'm saying? Right.
All love.
And
we don't live in love. We live in hatred. We haven't felt love.
Right. So as soon as you come up with an idea, you try to do something, you know, be a bunch of brothers sitting around hating and trying to, you know, push it. Right.
That's why God says, don't tell your brothers your dreams. He said they're going to throw your ass in the well. That's what he said. That's what they meant in the Bible, is that your brother's going to crush your dreams. So rather you not tell them, you're going to be king, they're going to look at you and laugh. That, you know, it might fuck with your mind. So he said, don't say shit, and then, you know, you'll be cool. So he said something anyway, and they threw him in the well, meaning the darkness of doubt. No, but I didn't mean to cut you off loud, but you were making a good point. I had to say it before I forgot.
No, I was going back listening to what you were saying, because, I mean, I really didn't finish my point, but, I mean, it's just difference between living when you broke, living in abundance, you know what I'm saying? The type of people you're around, the mentality, like you were saying earlier about the energy, when you look at people, you can see the difference between what's on the inside energy versus on the outside. And you really have to pay attention to the inside, the things that they're doing. You know what I'm saying? The way that they move. Do they move gracefully or are they clumsy? You know what I'm saying? Are they light-footed or are they heavy-footed? You know what I'm saying? Are they, you know what I'm saying? When they pick shit up, do they leave it out? Do they put it back? Do they, you know what I'm saying? Are they constantly dropping shit? Are they losing shit? You know what I'm saying? You got to look at people's energy, you know what I'm saying? And realize that, you know, these are the people that's next to you, you know what I'm saying? That you want to be, you know, energy is contagious, and you want to be around people who have positive energy that's graceful, that can, you know what I'm saying, calm you down, they can make you think and see the big picture, you know what I'm saying, from not moving from moment to moment per se, but able to see, you know, big sections of time, you know, from the beginning, the end, the middle, you know, all at once, you know, and pay attention to detail. You want people who can spread that type of energy and spread that type of thought. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people that you run into they're heavy-footed, they're clumsy, they're not paying attention to detail. You know, some people lose their phone, lose their keys, lose the wallet. You know what I'm saying? People break shit, lose shit. You know what I'm saying? All type. That's just how the world we live in. Like the Islam saying, they say the world naturally wants to return to chaos. You know, the Kemetic saying something similar. You know, that the world naturally wants to return to its effect. The only thing that stops it is Maya. Maya is divine law, which is know thyself, and Maya is order out of chaos. So that's you, that's us, that's the listener, that's y'all. That's what you're here for. We build in Ma, and Ma is the only thing that stops the earth from naturally wanting to return to chaos. So you constantly fighting chaos. You're constantly fighting this energy. You see it in people. You see it when you open your cabinets and your dishes fall out. You see it when you sweep the floor and somebody come in the house and track mud all over the floor. You see it when you're stuck in traffic and you know you can go around this person, but you can't because, you know, they don't know what the hell they're doing. And it's just, you know, you see the higher thought. You're able to see the bigger picture. You know, the more you focus on that, the more you spread that thought, the more we all grow as a people. You know, and them the people you want to be around. You don't want to be around people who broke, who want to get you high all the time, who want to get you drunk all the time, people that don't know how to take no money, who don't know how to give, you know, your relationship a purpose. You know what I'm saying? Give a purpose to your relationship. You know what I'm saying? You got friends is good, you know what I'm saying? If that could be the purpose, you know what I'm saying? Okay, we just friends, we don't have no purpose. Our relationship, we just friends, cool. You know what I'm saying? That's how we go to be. But make sure when you, certain people in your life that you come across, it's supposed to have a purpose. And make sure that you live according to that. You know, you don't want to just be hanging around people that you just out there with no purpose, just lollygagging. You don't want to do that because you're opening yourself up to bullshit. Give your life a purpose. Give every day a purpose, and you will find something a lot higher. A higher thought. That's what we here for.
And a lot of times relationships are serious because if you're in a relationship, authentic in a relationship, keep the person next to you energy. Brothers got to start thinking with their dick, and sisters got to start letting these niggas talk to your stomach. And start keeping their energy and know that this is what you're going to take on. If you fall in love, this is what you're going to accept. And like they say for men, can't live with them, can't live without them. We take on a lot of women's chaotic energy, not paying attention, thinking on our dick. And we can't live with them because the energy is so chaotic, but we can't let nobody else tap that, so we're going to stay with them, you know what I'm saying? So we're looking like, man, this shit fucked up under the two direction that become very confusing. So, like I said, when you get into these relationships, make sure you kind of keep the energy of the person next to you. She's picking you up, you know what I'm saying? That car is filthy, fucked up, she running red lights and shit. All that shit, that ain't really what you want to go through on a regular basis. You're going to die quick, or cancer, heart attack, or you're going to be smoking the hell out some cigarettes and drinking when you did before. And women, the same thing. You're going to be doing your hair, you know what I'm saying? You're going to become more heavy set or more, eating more because of this nigga got you all fucked up. The energy's so chaotic, it's one thing after another. And you're trying to love him, you're trying to be there for him, but this shit, the energy fucked up. So you kind of get sick. So, but you peep it in the beginning if you go to Total Recall. You know what I'm saying? You seen when he had the cell phone in his hand, you caught him with it in his hand, you said what's up, you scared him, the shit went out the window, it broke, now y'all need to, just any goddamn thing. And you like, damn, I had a phone at first, I met this nigga, now I don't got a phone. That's how you know he's subtracting from your stock and not adding to your stock. And pretty much, anything else? Anybody got any questions? That segment with anybody got any questions or anything they want to add on to say before we close the show?
Yeah. Hello? Yeah.
Go ahead.
Great. Yeah, that just reminded me of something I was studying on the other day. Just developing some stuff for myself and then to share later on once I done applied it. We're talking about like 3 different kind of relationships that you run across. Most of them be like transactional. Out here, do something for me, I'll do something for you. Yeah, the majority, whether you talking male-female relationship, the same sex, cross different, social, it's like you scratch my back, I scratch yours. And then you got the other big chunk is transitional, like, I'm going through a phase like the rebound chick, you know what I'm saying? Or, this is what I'm on right now. And whoever I meet right here, they down with me in this degree. That's what I'm attracting from whatever phase transition. Then you got, really, I guess the higher thought that you just expressed, the transformational relationships, that fifth dimensional lit. I think that's the key thing. With purpose, you know what I'm saying? You can kind of see what it's for. When you're focused on purpose, you see the purpose of everything and able to, make better choices. I know I definitely, I had to spend a lot of time in a hermit chamber even just to get to the point where I'm at now, where I feel like I'm kind of rebooting on a lot of levels. I had to really section myself off, from the same old type of people and environments I was hanging in. It's basically association breeds assimilation. And that's right on point, talking about that karma. You kind of got to gird yourself, but sometimes when you align with that purpose, I think you can take away some of the bad, you know what I'm saying? Instead of that black shading your yellow shading they black,
Yeah, you're right. But how long, like Sam Cook said, how long, you know what I'm saying? You're going to sit there and keep guarding yourself. You can't even let your body heal the body or do anything productive to the body because you're spending that energy right there, blocking off, warding off the bullshit and trying to hover over these niggas to make sure they safe. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of goddamn energy. Plus you blowing back and drinking with them. So they really, you know what I'm saying, destroying the power. And every day you're doing this, you know, you got the kryptonite going. That's like the brother, like the brother, you remember the brother get out of jail, he's been doing 1,000 motherfucking push-ups, he did about 4 years, he get out swole, looking like Mr. Clean, you know what I'm saying? He got a glow about him, he ain't been doing no drugs. And he getting a girl, and it usually be a white girl, not to say white, it'd be a white girl comes to him, or sisters be at him, and you be kind of watching him from a distance, like, damn, he got females ready to take care of him and ready to put him on. Partly because of that glow he got. He's clean, he's healthy, his body's been rejuvenated himself, and he's been doing a lot of exercise. But as time go on, he start kicking it with the niggas, he start losing that glow, he start getting dark. Now the females he had gone, he's been absorbed into the bullshit ass energy. What he was supposed to do is keep that penitentiary mind he had in the penitentiary in the world. That's his power. So a pack of cigarettes is 20 cigarettes, you know, they call it a kite in the joint, and the cigarette lasts a nigga a week. So he'll just take a hit off of it. And every day you take a hit. Now imagine you got 20 of these motherfuckers and you're in the world with that mind frame, you got a lot of damn cigarettes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. You know that bullshit they feed you? You know, but we overindulge in eating and feeding the appetites of the lower nature, so it becomes taken for granted. So when you first get out, that first cheeseburger tastes like heaven. If you want to keep that tasting like heaven, deny yourself all the shit. And every time you get it, it'll be just a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? Plus, you have a lot of cigarettes and a big ass bag of weed. So yeah, you know, take a top off, motherfucker, put it out. And I used to get the pinheads, a bottle cap, and they used to send it to me, you know, give it to me, and that was a little ass, like a breath. And I used to be high on the motherfucker. And I used to imagine if I had a sober, you know what I'm saying? Like, goddamn, if I had a dub. So I say that to say this, it look real crazy when niggas smoking 20 B's in a circle, because after that first 2-3 hits, you already have, once you cross over, that's as high as you're going to get. The rest of the weed just wasting this shit. And then the Indians smoke weed or they surround them, and imagine the shit a nigga talking about while y'all high, and you feeling like, damn, well, I feel fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you absorb
that's why we can't move the hell I smoke with, because you be smoking around motherfuckers trying to complain all day, you be fucked up. You be like, man, I can't even.
Like getting busy and shit.
Man, that's some real shit.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me go from the line. Anybody else got anything they want to add on? Any questions they want to add on? Going once. Going twice.
Oh, answers then, huh?
Well, shit, that's going. I guess that'll wrap it up.
Guess you got anything else you want to say, B?
I prayed the Lord. I swore to keep the angels watch me through the night and keep me safe to morning light. Amen.
Yo, this Ice Water motherfucking Jones, goddammit, in this bitch. Shouts out to my uncle Ice Water, Supreme Pimpin', and here Hood X Studios with my nigga Nightcap, K Blau, goddammit. This shit very religious, you know what I'm saying? You hit us, we hit you, we hit you, we hit you, goddammit, we make it rain 40 days, 40 nights like Moses. I be the last motherfucker you wanna fuck with, nigga. You be saying your goddamn prayers. Bish me Allah, Allah rock me, rocks and blows spark. Lord help me, Glock spark in the dark. Ring of fire for the narcs. Little Uzi, all my friends is dead. Robot toy, Rolex, yellow tape, streets filled with feds. Moon rock to the head, Henny mixed with Remy in the land of the dead with a closed mouth. Don't get fed, Don wine, magic wine, bless me. Penitentiary culture, kiss the pinky ring. Sold 1,000 crackhead dreams, nightmares. While I'm still awoke, Gucci and then Da Vinci G. While I'm at its wake, niggas crying with the devil face. Niggas be on two-face. Gemini, her and I, getting high. Wipe the tears from your eyes. Baby, we're gonna survive and everything is gonna be alright. All we gotta do is stay drunk and live in this devil place. Pyramid traps and the Rico whack. Trying not to catch your cases. Teaching of the black race. Niggas dying at a fast pace. Now pass me the ashtray, nigga. Now I lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. Now I lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake. We spit a phrase, you get amazed. It's just a phase, we send a stage. Spitting toes getting paid. They getting away, we renegades. I go for mine, it's showtime. Nose dive and drop bombs. My collar pop like the Fonz, mine like a dime on my arm. Shine in my palms, we unwind at the bombs. I'm her lucky charm. She gone off the magic wand. She gone. Trapper John, Japper magic wand. Peeping Tom, peeping her, peeping him. We blow back on Chirac and do it all again. Do it all again. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul can keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake.
X. You see, it's serious right now. I got my uniform on, so I had some guests today, so I had to put on my Sunday best for y'all. You know what I'm saying? I was in the middle of eating some guacamole for breakfast, smoking a blunt. We was talking to Jason, Jay Can. I was reaching Jay. What up? Joined by Jay Can. What up, bro?
What's going on, man? Anything? How are you?
Chilling. We was in the middle of talking this morning, as you know, and then all of a sudden we was rudely interrupted by this man, Homo from the neighborhood. And we was me and Jason was in the middle of talking about intergalactical talk, and you called me up and was saying that you had something you wanted to say, and it was really important. We had to stop whatever we was doing and see what you had to say. So I was like, okay, what is it? What's going on? And you was telling me something about the bipolar effect and how it was taking over the minds of people. And I was like, okay, all right. So what's going on? So before we get into that, I just want to give it the proper introduction, the proper, scope of what is going on just recently. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of mental disease, mental illness is being spoke of. You know what I'm saying? Kanye was talking about this. And, you know what I'm saying? It's in the air right now. Different movies and stuff, different TV characters, different real life people. You know what I'm saying? And I just wanted to figure out why. First of all, why was it so important that you wanted to do this video today?
Because it was really important now that the momentum builds up to this particular.
It's kind of hard to hear you.
Oh, it's hard to hear?
That's a little better. Why do we have to do this video today?
Why?
Yeah.
Well, double check the reason. It's the fact that it's urgent because before I forget.
Oh, okay. All right. Got it. All right. So we also.
What's happening?
Say what?
I'm sorry. I got this news on my phone. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah.
I got this news on my phone, and it's showing me all over the world things that's happening. And if you follow that, you'll start realizing the world is insane. I mean, I'm getting stuff every 5 minutes of crazy shit happening. Just like, what the fuck is going on? But by you in your house and you don't have this view, you'll never see it like that. I'm looking at the stock market on lunacy.
So what is the bipolar? What you got, the Orion and the bipolar effect? What is it?
Today we're really gonna talk about bipolarism. Like
that's a real dog. Wait, that's a real dog?
Yeah, nigga.
I thought that was fake. Oh.
A stuffed animal?
I thought it was a fake. That's a real dog. When you get a dog?
Last week.
What kind of dog is it?
Yeah, last week. It's an English bulldog.
Man, I can see it. I thought it was fake. I thought you were sitting there with like that's crazy. I didn't know what the English bulldog.
Yeah, it's an English bulldog.
Okay, so back to that. Just kind of threw me off. Sorry about that. So what are you saying? Orion and the bipolar effect. What is it?
Yeah, I'm telling you that bipolarism or bipolar is really an outer effect of an inner technology, or an effect of a technology, an alien technology, or Orion technology. And we witness it through being bipolar. You know what I'm saying? They call it a disease, but it's not. It's a state of control. So, you know, you thinking like, okay, everybody, you know, all of a sudden it wasn't like this back in the day, but all of a sudden it's a lot of this bipolar shit going on. You know what I'm saying? And before us, it wasn't this bad. So what's going on? Is it we just getting the epidemic of bipolarism? Is it a disease? Or is it a dis-ease? You know what I'm saying? Or is it some calculated technology that they have no words for, so they got to give it a name? What is it? You know, what makes a motherfucker blank out, do some crazy shit, then go back to the normal state of being? You know what I'm saying? What happens in that course? But I was going to read something. It's on the Intergalactical Talk.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I was briefly going to read you something because we're going to go into the inner dynamics of bipolarism. Hood style, you know, what the average brother can understand or the sister can understand. This ain't what they say it is. You know, this nigga crazy bipolar. No, something's really going on. So, under the Intergalactical Talk, they call it addiction webbing. And the application of the NRG or alien or shadow government technology is coded implanting. Its mechanism acts like a tick or a leech that burrows now mostly into the second chakra and into the instinctual response function of the central nervous system. So we can build on that side. Well, you there?
Yeah, I'm right here. I'm just making sure that hold on. I'm just making sure that the video running smooth.
Okay.
And I'm thinking I'm making sure that it's not skipping. I think we good. Yeah, we good. Hold on.
You might have to run that last part back.
Run that back, right. I'm just checking the monitor to make sure that it's running smooth.
All right.
I think
basically. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah. Now you said the technology acts like a leech that burrows into the subconscious of the person, especially into their second chakra. Would you say something like that?
Okay, this application, meaning how they apply it to you, is an NRG coded implant. NRG coded implant. Come on, we're gonna go to that real quick. NRG coded implant is a Nephilim reversal grid, and the Nephilim reversal grid is like the energy diagram of the Earth. Like if you go to the Stone Age with a bricks at, big ass bricks, every area of the Earth got something massive. Yeah, so basically it's that. But we're gonna go back to what we use at. So it's an implant. It's an energy dynamic implant, and it acts as a mechanism, like a tick. You know, a tick be on your dog sucking the blood. You can't really feel it, but it's on there, or a leech that burrows itself deeper into the lower areas of the astral body, meaning into the lower self. Mostly into the second chakra. Now, I'm going to ask you, what do second chakra represents to you? Why the second chakra?
Creativity, lust, sex, passion.
Okay. They got an implanted, coded implant that's burrowing itself or attached to your second chakra.
You said a coded implant?
A coded implant. Yeah, light code. They can do implants in your mind. They don't have to put nothing in you, but the strobe lights on the TV can implant codes in your mind.
Okay.
And they can wire your brain to think a certain way.
Okay.
Strobe lights. Right. Think about going 1,000 miles, milliseconds an hour or a second for the blink. It's coded. It's light. It look like you watching basketball wives of Atlanta, like I always say, but you're really being encoded with this energy dynamic. So the strobe lights is encoding your subconscious.
Okay.
From the TV flickering at milliseconds, 100 times at milliseconds. Other ways to do it. They don't put you in the lab and put a chip on you. They used to do it like that. They don't got time for that no more. So, if it goes into the second chakra and into the instinctual response functions of the central nervous system. Now let's start right there. Instinctual. You know what instincts is, right?
Like your animal nature, your nervous system.
The movement without thought. So if they can fuck with your natural movement without thought, then they controlling you. You see what I'm saying? So when the nigga say, man, why the fuck you do that? A lot of people say, shit, I don't know what I was thinking. That's what the fuck going on. You see what I'm saying? But that's worse. So they got women that survival instincts. So if you had a survival instinct, you know what I'm saying? You always in survival mode. You thirsty, hungry, angry, fighting or flight mode for nothing.
Right.
So if it's in your central nervous system, what do they say? You got a bipolar in chemicals. Your chemical is imbalance, meaning your nervous system is imbalanced. The nerve fluid is imbalanced. So that's what they tell you. You got chemical imbalance. From the second level of the chakra layer infection, is what they call it. From the second level of the chakra layer infection, if the addiction becomes severe over time, repetitive destructive actions and spiritually abusive behavior as a response to an external stimulus, it eventually embeds itself deeper into the energy matrix of the light body. So over time, if this person ain't trying to get up out of it or growing, it's getting deeper and deeper and deeper into the ether of itself. You know what I'm saying? Deep into its soul, you know? So it's gaining more control. So the shadow walker will say, I'm gaining more control. You know what I'm saying? A false web work like a film or a spider web is an overlay on the nervous system. Sections become infected until the entire system is infected. Winds up the spinal cord. That's why you got the cross and you see the snakes winding up the spinal cord. This is Orion showing you. Y'all know that symbol of medicine? Winds up the spinal cord. No, the cross. You know the cross. One of it.
On the medical, yeah.
Yeah, look what they said.
The Sadducees, whatever. I don't know how to say it.
Remember, this shit been going on for eons. So it said it winds up the spinal cord and we'll have a trigger implant placed in the back of the head and the neck. Once the implant is fully embedded and operational, severe addiction, mood swings, possession occurs as a target become more bipolar and manic. These are signs of mental and emotional instability, which further weakens the person into potential soul fragmentation. So basically, what they're telling you, man, the more they become a hold of addiction, the mood swings, this is what they call it. They winding up the spinal cord. So soul fragmentation. Soul fragmentation is a person has to think how to be before they be it. They can't be naturally. You know what I'm saying? You know how to go to outside leg under the Metu. They cut outside body up into 13 pieces and scattered it across the land. But this is what the aliens is telling you. That's what he was talking about in the Metu. Soul fragmentation is that they soul fragmentized. That whole story about the cut up into 13 pieces was called soul fragmentation.
So, just to recap, basically what you were just saying is that the light implant hits the subconscious, goes into the second chakra, crawls up the spine, hits the back of the neck, starts to form addiction, self-destruct. What do you say? Addiction. What do you say?
It starts to form addiction, mood swings, and possessions occur as a target become more bipolar and manic. The pet possession is when they shadow walker. What you call it? That movie. What's the name of that movie?
Venom.
Venom. It's a body possession. These are signs of mental instability, which further weakens the person into a potential soul fragmentation. Now we go into soul fragmentation. The more soul fragmented and damaged a person's energetic body is operating or not operating at all, the more distorted the thoughts and behaviors become. These deviations are manifested as addictions, perversions, and a wide array of damaging personality disorders or alternate identities that can be well observed in the individual as destructive to the self and destructive to others. When one is continually destructive to self and for others, eventually the soul matrix layers fragments and split. When a human being is soul split, they will exhibit mental confusions and tendencies that are called narcissism, schizophrenia, dissociative personality, psychopath, lack of empathy, and an array of psychological distortions, potentially lead to insanity. Now, let's go to what a narcissist is. Start there. Tell me what a narcissist is. One of you.
I did look this up, and then like I was just talking about this about a week ago. Matter of fact, I was talking about another video, and that the difference between a narcissist and bipolar, and that bipolar is a different inward. A bipolar has a more outward perspective than a narcissist has a way more inward perspective, and that a narcissist, it's almost impossible for them to see it from other people's perspective. And it was the same thing. It was like one of the best, simplest ways to determine bipolar versus narcissist is like, if a bipolar is in a room, person who's bipolar in a room full of people, a lot of times they don't want a lot of attention. Whereas like somebody who's a sociopath or a narcissist, when they're in the room, they gotta have all the attention. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, and that's just one example, but it's, what you saying?
I mean, you in their movie. A narcissist think everybody they deal with is part of their plan. I mean, you are in their movie. Like, right. You're not you're in their movie. So that's the worstest form. That's why they that's a lot of people drive like that. So they give you a phone call. Hey girl, what's up, Joey? I was just thinking about you. Can you come take me somewhere? You in her movie. She ain't thinking about shit. You in her movie. You know what I'm saying? And then you go pick up this. She actually can you buy something to eat. You in her movie.
But that's interesting. When we talk about narcissist versus bipolar, I know y'all probably called that Kanye West, Donald Trump, Oval Office.
That's literally the narcissist and the bipolar in this. Right.
And the interesting point that Kanye brought up that I took away was when he said that he was diagnosed, with bipolar disorder, and it was actually sleep deprivation. So, you have misdiagnosis going on in the Black community. You have all types of things that's going on when it's regarding mental health issues. Is it bipolar? Is it narcissism? Is it sleep deprivation?
Looking at Kanye, would you say Kanye is a narcissist or a bipolar?
He under the bipolar lick. He under the addiction weapon will be a color.
Well, you don't think maybe just like a year or two ago you would have said, or maybe 3-4 years ago? I'm thinking maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, people was calling Kanye a narcissist. Now he's bipolar. You know what I'm saying? So like, you might use a Gemini too. So like, go ahead. He both. You said?
It's not really one or the other. It's a mixture. It's a cycle. It's the whole thing together. This is all part of this bipolar shit. Narcissism, psycho, all that is part of it. It's just one expression. This expression. It's like these are the symptoms of it. Kanye West is a god body being put to sleep. That's why they say, no, you're not bipolar. You got sleep deprivation. And what a cold word of sleep deprivation is, nigga, your ass falling asleep. See what I'm saying? Get out. You falling asleep. That's what the hell they telling them in cold words. We putting Kanye West to sleep, and due to being put the god body put to sleep, the effects is bipolarism. Because you see beyond this bullshit, but the bullshit still sitting in your face like it's real. Ain't nobody kicking this shit. And when you go higher into the upper echelons of society, that's why Jay-Z said, Joy ain't nothing but a bunch of weirdos and neuros in practice. Motherfuckers are crazy. I mean, if you a god body and you get this, all this shit synthetic when you get that high with the money shit. Life is synthetic. Nobody give a fuck about nobody. All of them are narcissists. Imagine being in a room with a room full of narcissists and psychopaths. Think about that. How that conversation gonna go? Everybody you talking to is a narcissist. Okay, that's why Kanye West is the only motherfucker in there and that's not really a narcissist. Before when he first got on the scene, then we got on the scene with how it looked. He was in the back of the limo holding the motherfucking cheese fries for them fags. You remember that picture? That'll run your ass crazy. Yeah, but they said we ain't gonna give you this deal. You gotta hold my cheese fries. And you a god body, Joe. You so fragmentizing yourself. It's like a nigga who get hit in the ass. He can't be normal no more. You know what I'm saying? Or you let nigga hit you Tupac when that Quincy Jones hit in the ass. Tupac can't be really Tupac. Tupac's soul was fragmented because he was feeling like a warrior. But 5 minutes ago, he got hit in the booty, so it fucks you. It fucks with you. You know what I'm saying? You got to forget one or the other.
Yeah.
So you don't try to forget Don tapping him. Right,
so
shit like that.
Let me ask you, when you talking about Donald Trump, Kanye, you know, they got movies and stuff. I say this a lot too, and they're like, even the movies that's coming out now, a lot of the
Kanye.
Say what?
Kanye let one of them fags hit him. That's why he acting like this.
Oh,
Ruthless.
Go ahead.
Ruthless.
I'm talking about the movie.
So,
I'm talking about the movie. The characters in the movies now, like I seen Venom. You know what I'm saying? And like they had literally basically what you described, some alien shit that landed inside this dude.
Exactly.
His body.
Exactly.
Is that what you're talking about?
Exactly what I'm talking about. That's a visual of what I'm talking about. Shadow walkers.
He the hero of the story. This is what I'm saying. Is that he a hero. They making the hero is bipolar now. They making the hero.
No, what I'm telling you is go back.
Talking to himself and shit, walking down the street, talking to himself, and you know.
Go back. That's the bipolar thing. But then let's go back. They're trying to normalize the shit. But let's go back. They're making him the hero. Remember I told you about false timelines? How they insert your enemy and make your enemy your friend and your friend your enemy with the false timelines? They switch the timelines up.
No.
That's what they're doing.
Break that
so what they're doing is making this crazy, this bipolar or this person that's took over by negative energy. They making him your friend. They making him the good guy. They reversing timelines. They reversing history. You know, switching shit. How is he the good guy? It don't matter if he's the good guy, G. They had to put it in there like the story, the aspect of the story. That's just some storyline shit. It don't really matter who the good guy, bad guy, but they're showing you how it look.
Right. Right. A lot of times back in the day, like I've said this before, I used to read a lot of comic books.
Listen what he told. Hold on. Listen what he told. He told him, he said, "You a better fit." Remember when we was talking to the Shadow Walker? To that Shadow Walker video on YouTube. That's what that is. You say, Joe, why do you mess with this guy and not that guy? I said, he's too big and slow. I like this one. His body lighter. I can move him around. He's easy to move. You say, what's the difference between a white dude and a black dude? I said, white dudes can't dance. So imagine that. I'm in a stiff ass, shirt versus a black dude can jig. So which one you want to be in? You want to be in a black dude's body or a white dude's body? That's what Venom told dude. He said, we're going to make an agreement because I like your fit. I can do more things with you.
Right.
He said, you're going to live. And he told me the agreement is you do what I pay the game, you'll live.
Right. They kept trying to find the right fit. Like they couldn't fit in everybody. Like certain ones couldn't fit in. Like a certain symbiote had to fit in a certain type of person, they would die. You know, they had a perfect fit.
So that's what the technology they breeding in bipolar is them trying to fit that symbiote or align a certain people or a group of people with that symbiote just off birth so where they can easily jump in. And symptoms of rejection is that, the nigga still got sense. That's symptoms of rejection. They can't fully take over. But so they're doing the next technology where we just trying to put the shit in the air, in the water. All the chemicals that we use on the person that we call bipolar, all they doing is checking. Scanning them up and down like, okay, the fit is, we got to tweak the medicine and make it fit a little bit. Once we get the perfect tweak, we're going to put it in the air, the food, everything. Now you're going to be going like this, and now you're going to, I think they already did it because if you look around the world, it's already going down.
Jay, you said you had something that you wanted to say, like a story or something that you wanted to, I don't know if it was personal or not, but you said you had something.
A friend of mine was talking in regards to this situation. He was talking about how he's been coming to grips. He's on a guided path, self-awareness, like most of us are trying to be on. He was talking about just relationship issues that he's been having in the past, and somebody had came and dropped some heavy news on him in regards to the situation with him and his wife. They're putting up, going through divorce. That's commonplace in the Black community, especially when we're talking about mental health.
Yes.
His inability to let circumstances play out when he's faced with stressful, emotional stimuli, and he goes through these triggers and he reacts. So, me on the other end of that, I've been through personal situations. I'm not perfect. Been through divorce, slew of domestic situations, in the past. So my frame of reference is more keen because I'm on the opposite end of that thought. So when I'm listening to him speak, and he's talking about heavy things that go on, you know, in the Black community when we're talking about mental health. The only thing that I can do from my standpoint, man, is just fall back and, you know, listening to this information right here, like we had a conversation earlier today. Is when you're aware of it, when you're looking at it, when you're staring it in the face and you're listening to these conversations of people that have these issues that go on, what's the best mode in explaining this stuff to them? So, you know, like we're talking this right now, like the average viewers listening to this right now, and their friend is talking to them about mental health or a situation that go on, and they're aware of it, but don't know what to say to that person. What's the best way to go about it? I mean, I'm only on the phone talking to you, like, you know, the troubles. What do you say? What do you do?
Jay?
Okay. Well, the parental lobe will be locked to sensory response awareness of direct cognition. The person is now locked into 3D window and cannot perceive anything outside of the window of perception. Essentially, the consciousness is trapped in a small material cell blocking the reality. The peripheral lobe may be caged, or higher sensory functions is controlled by the manipulated entity or programming. This is how the holographic inserts of projected images and transform can be projected images and thought forms can be controlled. The perception of the human being. This is how the masses are controlled, put to sleep or mind slided. So what I'm telling you is sometimes you can't do shit about it, but be aware of it yourself. That mind is locked. The frontal lobe, the third eye, is locked into a perceptory cell or jail, meaning they can't perceive the highest functions of life. I mean, if you got to be with that person 24 hours a day, building with them, if you think you're going to get an effect, and you know damn well that ain't going to happen. So pretty much you just got, it's a war. It's a war. Yeah, we can't save everybody. So it's a war. That they study them. That's all, study.
Would you say you bipolar?
No. I don't want to say I was bipolar because that's bullshit. Bipolarism is basically the effects of alien technology being played out on your ass. So I would say, yeah, I have this shit happening to me, but that don't mean I'm bipolar. If I let it affect me, I would become bipolar. But I don't let it affect me because I'm aware of it. You know, if I get up and I say, damn, as soon as I go in the street, a car gonna come and it actually happened, I'm saying like, oh shit. Then you tell somebody, they're like, nigga, you crazy. That's some bipolar shit. But me being aware of it, know that even if that happens, I can give a fuck less about telling somebody. And if I did, they respond, still wouldn't mean shit. Because I know their frontal lobe is locked in. Everything happened for a reason. To them, it just happened. It just happened. But no, I want to say that ain't no such thing. Bipolarism is the effect of alien technology being played out on your ass.
What do you mean alien technology?
Well, you go back to the movie Venom. That's what I mean.
Well, that's a movie. I'm saying like in day-to-day life, like.
Okay, alien technology.
Like would you say music? Is music alien technology?
Yeah, it's an effect of alien technology. Yeah, no, not music, but something that's not of this earth. You know, you go to so far to the white man, but it's something that's controlling the white man. It's not the shadow government. We go behind the shadow government. Something that's not natural to the earth.
Are you talking like cell phones?
All that was given to us. You got to remember, when we was growing up, there wasn't no inventions. It wasn't nothing happening. Then as soon as all of a sudden they hit the beeper, and then that was the age of this shit. And they got into this shit. Ain't no new inventions coming out because this is what they needed. And we need this type of dynamic or frequency or energy vibration or frequencies to control. So let's introduce the cell phone to them. But we just can't give them a goddamn iPhone in 1970, 85. So what we do, we introduce the beeper. Let's take the cell phone, break it down, make it a little beeper, so a frequency, get them used to that. They beeping each other. Okay, now we got that. See, all this shit is riding on a frequency band. At first, there was no frequency band. There was hard lines, meaning phones and pay phones. So if I can't Wi-Fi your ass, you know what I'm saying? Wi-Fi is a wireless router that's sending a signal out or a frequency band with all this information out to another receiving conductor. You are in between that shit. So all that energy, all that information is passing through your brain's, waves too. They couldn't do it at first because you just calling from a payphone. They can't go on the, they can't do shit. So let's make a bandwave that's unseen. So now they did that. They introduced the beeper. And then when the beeper came, it was aiming at the iPhone. Now they had the big brick phone. Now they getting you, getting you ready. Now you got the brick phone. They come out with the internet. They're getting you ready, but they're kind of scared. That can make you or break you because more people can either unite with the internet, like what happened over there in the Arab country, while the niggas did the overthrow of the government through Facebook, or it can backfire. You know what I'm saying? It can be used as a weapon where we can get little shit across to the masses. So they introduced the brick phone. They came with the flip phone. And then after the flip phone, they came with the little phone with the screen. Then they kept coming. Now they got into the masterpiece, iPhone. Now, through all that information floating through your head, because when you look around, what people doing, looking down at their phone. So they say you can't carry the TV around, but we want that TV frequency right there in their face at all times. So give them a phone that they can do everything on. Plus, we got that frequency band riding with them. So you remember, phone ride on the same wavelength as mind frequency, or mind band. So what that tell you? You can run with that.
Let me ask you this. Prior to major technology, but you figure back in the 1800s, early 1900s, major technology, before major technology, people who may have been considered bipolar may have just been written off as crazy or even executed. Would you say before the technology was here, those people still qualified as bipolar, or they were just legitimately crazy, or is all bipolar the effect of technology?
No, that's an earlier version of the shit being tested. Alien technology being tested. They was the same. It's the same shit, but just in a different time. They haven't perfected.
Right. I already see what you said.
Either perfected. You know what I'm saying? They hadn't perfected it because the people were just killing the motherfuckers. They're called witches, and kill their ass. You know what I'm saying? I'm crazy. They kill motherfuckers like you possess and start killing your ass. They had the right idea. The people did. But, they kill a motherfucker. Now we ain't killing nobody. Put it like this: when they had the episodes and they say, "Damn, they gotta go get his meds." What's happening is the entity is taking too much control. So when he go get his meds, it's leveling out the control of the entity because he's being noticed. He's bogus. You know what I'm saying? They're like, "Nigga, you're bogus. You're doing noticeable shit." You know what I'm saying? And so they put the injections in there to balance it back out. They only want it on a social level. They don't really like it when he start busting windows and crazy shit like that and busting at niggas and, wild shit.
That was what I grew up in that era.
Right. They try to
get locked up for doing some bipolar shit. They didn't, like now they show up, they see bipolar shit, they call an ambulance truck. You know what I'm saying? But back in the day, it was like, it wasn't none of that shit. You was going straight to jail.
No, that always been. It was back then too. Kind of back then, I had a buddy. They just called it ambulance. And he would tell me. He would say, the real guys are in there. And I said, what do you mean? He said, they in there. Yes, mean, no, mean yes. The world is backwards. You know what I'm saying? So he would tell me that it's like a button they push in his head. Like he'll say, man, I'm gonna ask you something. And he wouldn't say shit. And then I'll be like, okay. He said, I said, what the hell you saying? He said, I told you. I said, okay, they can blank your ass out. He said, yeah, I can hear him in my head. That was the older version of audio voice of skull. And I would ask him, like, what the fuck you hear? He said, they be saying this crazy shit, and I can look in the sky and see a white Jesus. And he said, you probably can't see it, but I can. That's the hologram. So I'm saying, listen to him, you know what I'm saying? And I know him. He said, I'm going to tell you. You couldn't tell me because this is real shit. He thought he spoke, but he didn't speak. You know what I'm saying? And one time we was in.
So wait a minute. Wait. You saying he said, hold on, I'm about to tell you something. And then he didn't say shit. But in his mind, he thought he heard himself say something.
He thought he told me. He said, I got something to ask you. I want you to ask God. I said, okay, I'm going to ask God what you want to ask me. And he didn't say shit. Nah. Then I was driving, I looked at him, I said, nigga, what you want to ask me? He said, I told him. I said, okay, what just happened? I said, what did you thought you said? And that's when he really thought. That's when he said what he thought he said out loud. He said, I shot somebody. And I said, okay. And he said, well, it was me and my brother. And we was up north, and some dudes tried to rob us. And some type of way I took the gun, and instead of me just going about my business, I started chasing them and shooting at them. I shouldn't have done that. I should have just went the other opposite direction for what I'm running fucking with you. I said, okay, so what happened? He said, well, then evidently As me shooting at them, I hit an old black lady in the head, in the eye.
Wow.
So he's asking God to forgive him. Wow. So that demon haunted him. So we was in the car, and I was driving. And as I'm driving, he in the rear with rims on it. My cousin in the back, they tried to pass me the hot dog. That was just putting me to sleep. I was like, no, I'm cool on the hot dog. So we driving across the street. The car coming, he just they blank him out. She hit him dead in the she hit me dead in the side. But what I did, I stopped time. So as I seen the car coming towards my side, like the passenger side, I raised up and jumped on him, got on his side and watched the door cave in. And then I got back on that side, pushed the door open, and we couldn't get the door open, got out on the other side. But it still felt like I got hit. That was a hit. They had a hit on me. They blanked him out. The technology. I'm God body sitting in the car next to him. He was a God body, but he didn't know. So they folded him, perfect, technology. They folded the God body. So he was a symbol of that they got to him. So all of a sudden they were going to get to my ass. But they used him. So as he's driving, they blanked him out. And goddamn it, he didn't even see the lady coming in. She come in and smack him dead on the side of in the car. He said, man, that's that lady that I shot. And I said, with the trench coat, because she had on a trench coat. He said, yup, same color. I said, damn, I can see what you're saying.
Damn.
He said, she back. And I said, yeah, they try to pop me off. He said, I know. He said, but they can't see you. He said, when they see you, they channel. They use witches to channel us. So they channel him. And when they see him, they channel through him. But he said, when they see him, they can't see me. They just seem like light or something talking. They don't know how to hit me. They got to just say, fuck it, he's a great art. And in certain instances, I guess they send hits that way. But so, they can't see me.
Y'all talking like this.
Yeah.
You never thought at one moment that, mind you, this is obviously years and years ago when you wasn't fully developed to this level of consciousness where you're not. But like listening to it, you never had like that other thought. You're like, man, this nigga crazy as fuck. Like that thought never really, like y'all having a conversation and most people would never look at like,
No, because we were shorties, and when I seen him, when I first seen him, he said, "Oh, it's Godspeed." No, I never had that thought because I was still kind of woke. I was like, "No, he wasn't crazy." I said, "Okay." I wanted to listen to people that they say crazy because I know they're thinking of another outside the box. I was interested in knowing how they think, and when I found out, started listening to him, I like, "Damn, these motherfuckers ain't crazy." Because I knew I already kind of knew shit, so I knew, you know what I'm saying. Someone was talking to this nigga because he wasn't like that when he was growing up. No, he's sitting on gold chains. He ain't no broke nigga. He got bricks. He's selling bricks. Nigga, how the fuck is this possible? And while he's selling bricks, these motherfuckers is transformed. So next thing you know, you go from selling bricks with weird Lexus and drop tops and shit to walking down the street in this boxer drawers 30 miles away going to Jewels, going shopping. When you got to walk right past your damn car, 30 miles and walk to Jewels in your drawers and your boxer shorts and a t-shirt. So I know everybody else like, oh, that nigga went crazy. I'm like, no, something happened. What happened? This some real shit.
wow.
Like that.
Wow.
So no, I knew he went crazy, so I said, what the fuck happened to you, niggas? I know you went crazy. You just can't go crazy. You know what I'm saying? So he jumped out the bridge. So I said, what happened when you jumped out the bridge? He said, I was getting off. All I remember is going to the mall. Next, I'm on a stretcher. They did the Kanye West tour. He had the Kanye West face. He had the metal plates in his jaw. He thought he wanted to see if he can die because he thought we was robots. He said we robots. He didn't die.
He said, wait. He said because he thinks we robots, he jumped off a bridge and he lived.
He was talking about cloning. And he was like, we were going across the bridge, right? He said, oh, you something different. I said, he said, because nigga, you can sit in the car and talk to me and you can still kill with other niggas. I said, the other niggas, he said, the ones that sleep, the niggas who getting money and all that. He said, I don't know how you switch over like that. I said, oh, no, I'm decent. You know what I'm saying? I know that shit, ain't nothing. So a couple of days later, he was saying we was robots. And I was like, what you mean? He said, man, we got the same face we was when we were shorties. He said, only difference is they gave us another body. Meaning we didn't age as fast as the people around us. That's basically what he was trying to say. And he was talking about cloning. But he didn't understand how to say cloning. He didn't know what the fuck that meant. And he kept saying they listening. As we ride, he'd say they listening. And I would say, what you mean they listen? He said they could hear everything we say. I didn't have that knowledge of the technology, that alien technology that was going on. Because if you tell me that shit now, I say, yeah, they hear everything. But back then, I'm trying to figure out how he said this person in the car can hear. But it's really the entity like on that movie, Shadow Walker. I didn't know about Shadow Walker, but he was explaining Shadow Walker then. So one day it's another hit. So we driving. I'm driving this whip. We in the rear.
Hold that thought for just 10 seconds. We're going to get to the hit. That's why I'm going to just pause the segue real quick. Did he talk like this with everybody, or was this with you?
He would talk like this with me, but more so with everybody. He'll say sarcastic shit. He'll try to say normal, but it'll be sarcastic. It'll be like, Joe, I see a shadow on the it'll be some slick ass sarcastic shit. But no, he didn't talk like this with everybody. He'll just say shit though. He didn't give a fuck. He was like, yeah, the little red devil just running around. And they'll be looking at him like, what? And he's like, yeah, like that. He stayed drunk, so really he ain't say shit too much.
So other people that took him as what? Like, how did other people take him?
They felt like he went crazy.
Okay, so another hit came.
So we in the whip ride, and I'm playing the game. Now I'm waking up listening to him because I'm learning about this whole shit, the whole demo. He don't know that I'm reading all types of books at home, and he lining up with the shit fuck I'm reading. So then I'm in the whip, I'm driving. He's like, where you going? I said, I'm gonna go pick up some money. I'm gonna go pick something up. I was just stargazing, talking out the ether, seeing what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? So as we driving, the FedEx truck pull up next to us with these country ass white boys. And we was trying to rap then. So he was like, yeah, we got speakers and everything. Joe, pull over. I'm like, okay. I said, that's what I'm going to meet. I'm shocking my damn self. So we get off. We out west. We get off on the bridge. And then he opened the door. And we all get out the car. So they go to the back of the door. They show us the merch. I said, Joe, this shit ain't stolen, is it? He said, no. I said, well, just in case it's a mic, I'm asking the question. They saying, no, but y'all in a FedEx truck, y'all gonna do this? And I was like, fuck it, let me get it. So I said, how much? He said, $150. So I gave him about $100, about $125. He said, cool. And I looked down the street, I seen a big cop. And just off the either, I knew, I said, by talking to this nigga, he's teaching me how to see shit like this. I said, damn, big cop, we sitting in the FedEx truck, all of a sudden white boys, 3 of them, which is the third eye, you know what I'm saying? Meaning there's a deeper meaning behind this situation, you know what I'm saying? I'm seeing with the 2 eyes, but it's a third one that see the deeper meaning. So I'm looking at the Fed truck and the goddamn Fed car, man, let me get my money back. So he started shaking. I said, give me my money back, man. Fuck that. Y'all, this could be a setup. Get my bread. So he pulled get one in his pocket, handed me the money. I bought a handful of money. He's shaking. I grabbed the money. I said, fuck it, put it in my pocket, and I drove off. And then my man was like, Joe, I see that's who you want to meet. He said they try to set you up, but you got him. I said, I know. He said they was going to pop us off. I said, I already know, but check this out. And I pulled out the money. It was $500. I gave the nigga $125. He was so scared, you see what I'm saying? He knew that I knew. Remember, they got these niggas, the feds, all this shit, J. Edgar Hoover. We must stop the rise of a black messiah. They know. And due to listening to this nigga, I was able to believe more in how to see the unseen, how to see the ether, because he just sees straight ether. He don't even see numbers and letters. He don't see the person. He see numbers and letters. I can see the person and the numbers and letters. That's where the man who understands symbols came from. So yeah, I came up $300. And we rolled off. And I said, oh, this shit real. He knew. You know what I'm saying? He knew. And he used to tell me, Joe, I feel strong when I'm around you. Instead of he put down a liquor and was doing push-ups one day. But the 40 tasted like piss water. And he got mad at me. Not really mad, but mad at the situation, because when you around a nigga with a high vibration, you don't get as drunk as you could. So I'm bloating off a high vibration, so he's not getting drunk. He's saying they give me piss water. He says, shit, basically, I get drunk when I'm not around your ass. So when you ever want to get really drunk, you got to go skate outside 20, 30 feet, get drunk, then come back and kick it with me. But if he drink the 40 bottle white next to me, he don't get drunk because I'm vibing too high.
So this is all your bipolar friend. I ain't going to say his name, but this is all. But I'm going to ask you, just for the sake of the video, I got really just one more question. I want to ask you one more. If Jason got any other questions, and then I'm going to wrap it up. But I just want to ask you, just for the sake of the viewers, I've asked you this multiple times. You done told me this multiple times, but every time I ask you, you give me a different interpretation. But y'all just want to see what you say this time. For the sake of this video, it's called Orion and the Bipolar Effect. What is Orion again?
It's aliens. Fuck it. Aliens from another universe. Aliens. From the Dracon universe. Yeah, aliens. Fuck it, it's aliens. Alien motherfucking entities. So you think like this, the white man can't be doing all this shit. So who can be doing it? Alien technology, and then that's how you can slam up all this bullshit. Because what make motherfuckers just do the shit they do? You see the news. What makes niggas do it? I got a motherfucker, you see the crazy shit. What makes them do it? A nigga looking on a statue. What the fuck is he doing? You know, shit like that.
So, like, the programming of the mental, like tie that to the bipolar effect. Orion, just tie that up, just in the something. Alright, like tie that to the bipolar effect.
Those who are more trapped or got more, those who the dark entity have a more control or more hand in or on are prone to be known as bipolar, meaning is the effects of this technology is showing rampantly in this person. Basically, that's what it is. So when I look at you, I say, damn, they've been walking with you for a long ass time to the point where they got half of you, they own half of you, you know what I'm saying, where they can click you on and click you off. You know what I'm saying? So it's 60% versus 40%. You control 40, they control 60. So it's called bipolar. But when it's 50-50, you're still not saying. Only until they go past that percentage, 1%, like a business. 50, I can own 51, and you can own 49%. I own the company. It's called bipolar.
That is nuts.
But and we call them we call certain. I give them Azazel. I give them nicknames. Certain niggas got nicknames, and I said Azazel, what he was up to, and they'll tell me about the crazy bipolar shit they did. But really, it was an entity from the 1800s that can't really see and understand what's going on. But when you take over the body, he play out some shit in the 1800s in 2018. He look kind of crazy. He know a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's a handsome dog you got there.
Oh yeah, he roof. His name poked up. Say what's up, Nick, bro. All he do is eat and sleep. Got the hoodie on too, Joe. He gets it in.
Jay, you got any questions?
Ain't no more questions. That was a good bill, man. Interesting.
Okay.
For sure. Let me look in the comments. I want to how do you know? Wait, hold on. I'm gonna ask just one or two questions in here, and we're gonna get out of here. Question from Straight Knowledge: how do you know you are in the presence of someone cloned? Good question.
Okay. Stand behind them, and if they can't sense you behind them, then that's a fucking clone.
You said stand behind them.
Yeah, just walk up on them, and if they don't sense you behind them, that's the clone. You know, somebody walk up on you, right? You can feel it, right?
Right.
Walk up on a white person in line. I'm gonna be right there till you touch them.
Right. Clone.
You don't know really. You know when you got a clone. This is something I'm learning too. You don't know really because all it is an imprint of the person you think you know that's put into someone else. So the way to best tell a clone is when they can't create into the future. So Dave Chappelle used to be funny. If they clone Dave Chappelle, he's gonna be telling the same old ass jokes. He can't make no new jokes because it's nothing that's not really him. It's just the program stops where they capture him and made him a clone. So he can't create no new shit. It's hard to create new shit because clones can't create, they only can duplicate. That's how you know. So you're around a motherfucker who ain't got no creative imagination, you only duplicate or act like everybody else, or worried about what everybody thinks. That's a damn clone. And it's not really about what other people think. He's trying to duplicate all this shit. He's like, it's confusing. I'm like, man, that's a lot of shit to duplicate. That's what I'm learning. So basically, a clone can't create into the future. It only stopped at the point it was captured.
I've read different interpretations of like people saying clones do multiple, like just traveling through multiple dimensions. Like people saying Gucci Man was cloned, and people were saying Dave Chappelle was cloned, and then but I had read so many different interpretations, and it was saying that as what's that shit called, the Mandela Effect? You ever heard of that, the Mandela Effect?
Okay. Well, from what you saying,
we shifted through different dimensions, and it's like you end up basically like a clone version of yourself in that, it's like as we shift through different dimensions, it's like the spirit of you jumping into like a different quote unquote same version of yourself. You know what I'm saying? So like this person who you was 10 years ago, like we shifted through time shifted, like literally shifted the whole mental grid of everybody on this planet. So some of us came out as clones, basically, of ourselves when we came out of this, shit. So
you did.
The people who the best way to know somebody was a clone is you have to kind of compare it to their old, compare them to their old self and like the memory, like the conversation, like when you're talking to them, basically you have to really kind of talk to them and see what they own, and they're like consciousness itself. Like if you sitting there talking to somebody who you knew that was kind of woke back in it, like then you say this all the time, like you knew kind of people was kind of woke, and then about 10, 15 years later you talk to them, they be straight sleep, like they be like, damn, like what the fuck happened? It's like you can't even go into the conversation of what it was back then. Like if I ran into you 10, 15 years from now and I was like literally a crackhead on the street smoking crack, and you like, man, what the fuck? And then like you can't even bring up the dialogue or all of the shit that, because it was just the situation we was in. It was so ruthless that you couldn't even say, man, what happened with all it? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just you be moving straight with the grid. Like you'd be like, oh, what's up, Loud? Shit, what's going on? Oh, shit, you want to get something to eat? Like you don't even, you know what I'm saying? That's a clone. You see what I'm saying? The way that the dimension shit. I don't know if that makes sense. If you can't force yourself to go into that type of dialogue with that person, like you can't see him in 10, 15 years, then that's when you know you're dealing with a clone. You're supposed to pick right up, like right where the thought left off. Like y'all supposed to pick right up and you know what I'm saying? Like when you see your family and shit like that. But like, I don't know if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Cloning, blah. It's natural cloning and it's synthetic cloning. Natural cloning is what they call death and the resurrection. He just died in 3 days. He came back. What you explaining is natural cloning. When I see somebody and they tell me who I was, I don't really remember. I only remember bits and pieces of what I needed to know. Right? Down, delete some of this bullshit information to restore death and resurrection, meaning reprogram to deprogram. So natural cloning is, I've been naturally cloned. I'm a clone because I'm not the same nigga I was back then. So when I see the niggas that knew me back then and I'm talking now, they look at me crazy. And not say I'm crazy, but I could see the terror in their eyes. They're like, what the fuck happened? You imagine talking to a goon and then the next thing you know, he's sounding like me when you see him again. I haven't seen him, but it'll fuck my head up too. Like, what the fuck happened to this nigga? Wait a minute, and then as he telling me when I used to do this, I don't know what the fuck he talking about. I'm trying to resurface the memory. The memory brings up the feeling. And since I have died of the old self and came back another one, I deleted the memory so I don't get the feeling.
Natural cloning, you said death and resurrection, like natural cloning.
Natural cloning, yes.
Okay.
Synthetic cloning, they snatch your ass up and put your matrix, your mind in another body. I believe we're around a lot of clones. People that ain't really waking up is a clone, can be a clone. I always say the ones that don't wake up, like what you call it, Blau, forever sleep, or what you call it, sacred agents. Them clones. Because the human is always built to evolve. The human aspect. A clone is built not to. It's to stay at the same thing over and over. If the person ain't born, what is it? It's a robot. You should have more attention than you had before, some type of way.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to take one more question. My shorty just ran in on it. Can someone...
If you're using a cannabis vape, it should be the purest form of flower. That's the standard Cresco holds themselves to. Cresco's liquid live resin is fresh frozen whole flower with nothing added and nothing taken away. Carts this pure guarantee a premium cannabis experience every single time. Visit CrescoCannabis.com to learn more and ask for Cresco's liquid live resin at your local dispensary. These products are intended for persons 21 plus in Illinois. Individual experiences may vary.
Recorded live.
What up, family? This is Godspeed broadcast. Godspeed family. Welcome to GSN broadcast brought to you by GodspeedName.com, where the universe is the sum total of all knowledge and the balance between all which is known and unknown. And tonight's show is brought to you by GodspeedName.com, with your host, Pomo. And tonight we'll be talking about memory wipe and the ninth stage of initiation, which is the ninth spirit in the tree of life under the Aset files. And it was brought to you, spawned upon the movie called The Giver, and in which it's a guy who
he's supposed to be a giver of memories, and he meets another giver of memories. But in this movie, he has a gift, and in the gift, he's able to be. Well, the way they put it, he's all 12 zodiacs. He has the nature, but it was similar to, I don't know if you ever seen, I forgot the name of the movie, but it was, it's called, basically, where they take the memories and they wipe them. Like us. He was. All right, my fault, family. I just had to do a mic check real quick. Things was getting a little out of hand. But like I said, tonight's show is brought to you by GodspeedName.com. And every now and then this segment is the second part of what we call How to Think Higher, which is what we think with the ancient mind frame, where we teach you or attempt to teach the average listener or just a reflection to the average listener that is thinking hieroglyphs, think with the ancient mind frame. Similar to where we're going with it tonight about memory wipe and how to connect right back to your ancient memories or unlock these memories in your DNA, which will cause you to live a certain way in the present time. And usually what I'll do is I'll read a little bit out of the book before I start. But I want to give you a briefing on the movie, The Giver. And in it is a special, the guy, it starts off with black and white, which represents the way we see the world, the way the average person sees the world with his memory already wiped and with the information he's been given to him. So it starts off in black and white. And the guy in there, I don't recall his name, but he's a guy, as he's going on through the process of initiation or wherever they're trying to find out, similar to Equilibrium, that's the name of the movie. But as he's going on with initiation and trying to find his way in life, in the movie they through your personality archetype, they set you a particular goal or a particular job or something, a task for you to do. But he was able to encompass all tasks. So they gave him a special job, was the giver. Meaning is he had to see another giver where he was a receiver at the time, meaning initiate. And he had to see another giver, which was a master who had to give him memories. And in the memories, they told him that his initiation was pain, excruciating pain, supreme pain. Meaning is there was things he had to go through in order to receive these memories and gain knowledge and wisdom from them, from the things he encountered, due to the fact that the master giver gave him the memories. And without memories, you have no knowledge. So it's like you have to go through hell to get to heaven, so to speak, as they say. And what wound up happening is that the giver gave him memories, and he had memories, he had experiences that he had never had before. And this in society, what they did was it was the end of the world, or the world as we knew it, and it was way in the future. And what had happened was they wiped out everybody's memory and gave them new memories, or gave them memories from there on forth. And in these memories, they encoded new words, gave actual actions, different words, meaning there's death. They didn't say death, they say take, to take, so it's more softer. And they said to speak in a precise language. So one of the guy was witnessing his father kill a baby. And his father was doing it so casually. He took the baby out, pampered, got it ready, put the needle in his head, killed it, put it in the box, wrapped it up real nice, and dumped it down the chute. That represents the mind frame of the Illuminati, so as we want to call it, the elite, these psychopaths. That's kind of like their mind frame. They're numb. And in the movie, it was showing you depicted that due to the receiver having memories from the giver who gave him memories, he remembered that was death. So by him remembering that was death, it caused a certain response in his body, like, oh, that's wrong. And he started to wake up in this black and white world, but he started to see color in this black and white world where everybody else was seeing black and white, which represents the third eye. to be able the ability to see the unseen scene, which is to see in color or HD. And when he was it bothered him how easily his father was able to kill a baby, and his father was a caretaker. That was his lot in life. He was a caretaker, something like a nurse, and it bothered him. But before it did bother him, because he was under this language, he was under this memory wipe, he was under this new way of thinking. But when he got his memory back, which is reconnecting with our hieroglyphic mind, we see a lot of things in the world that we didn't see wrong. Now we see them quite wrong. And just off the language, they said the tape. So the tape was a little softer. So he would just say, oh, yeah, he's taking the child. In reality, due to him reconnecting with his ancient self, due to him giving his memories from the memory giver, he seen that his daddy was actually murdering the child. So his goal was to get out and beyond the little area that they had encompassed, meaning it's like a hood, like our brothers stay in the hood. There's no actual walls, but it's a mind wall that's there due to the nicer it gets, the more you know not to be there. So if he can make it past that by him being the receiver, which going into the initiation, finna be outside, which is master of ourself, the giver, is he'll go past a certain point, and all the memories will come back to the people. And in the end, it showed that when he finally went on his journey, which represents a Godspeed journey or a journey of God, and he had the baby in his hand, which represented baby Jesus, or that he was holding the birth of the Messiah, which was in himself. He made it past, and all the memories shot back, and everything turned from black and white, which means everybody see the world one way, which is a dull way to see it, into color. And everybody start feeling it again. They start feeling it. So when somebody, like I'm going to give you an example. I'm kind of floating through this before I start, but I'm going to give you an example. Okay. Back in the day when we was a little bit younger, some of you may know that when somebody had a baby, it was like a young girl had a baby, it was like, wow. You know, it was like, whoa, she's pregnant. Damn, dude, you know, somebody got killed or a little boy got hurt or some child got hurt or anybody got killed. It was like, whoa. Now, from then to now, somebody get killed, you don't have that same response. You don't have that same emotion. You don't have that same, you know, feeling. So would I say that to say this, that I'm giving you an example of memory wipe. See, back then when you remember, you had a certain response to it. Now, over time, by them wiping your memory and making you numb to the things of the world, meaning it's redirecting your language. So when Lil Wayne say kill, 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 you know, the other one of them cats say kill, 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 or Boosie say kill, kill, kill. By being said so much, the value of the actual enigma or the signal of the energy that comes from that word leaves. So now you kill, it's like killing on a video game. A child played all day killing on video games is nothing to him when he killed on the world. You see, it's getting the same response. It's almost to him, it's like the person pretty soon when he leaves, going to get up and go back to life. So that's just a quick an example of what I can give you of memory wipe. And I say this to say that I bring it to under the metal net too, since this is an actual segment of the thinking hieroglyphs. It's the ninth spirit, which is Aset. And it's funny we say Aset is because she is the guardian. She had a certain power over the airwaves. She had the ability to speak certain things and reflections of outside through the airwaves, meaning to try to put the bits and pieces back together, try to put the scattered 13, some say 14 pieces back together. And what she would do, something like Sophia Stewart, they will slip in real knowledge, real information, real shit for you to see, and hopefully you grasp it and see a reflection in that within yourself. But she knew one thing, that the actors was going to have to be of a Caucasian descent. So it's nothing really hard, but if you can just read between the whitewash and the lines, you'll see yourself. You know, and as I watched the movie, I seen the receiver, the boy with the hole in his hand, which represents the third eye. The hole in his wrist is that the fact that he was black and he was able to see things that other populations couldn't see. He was able to see in color that other races wouldn't see, or other people around him couldn't see. And then once you just switch the color up and put yourself in the or maybe someone else, you know, as it put yourself in the flick, you'll see it a little bit clearer, just like the movie Matrix. So I would do this and slip little things in there, and just like Equilibrium, what I'm starting to realize is they're showing us the same thing. She's trying to show us the same thing. Equilibrium, the same thing. You take a medication that numbs you, and it avoids emotion. And you walk around, and in the world, it says perfect, no killing, no murder, but everybody lacks expression. Everybody lacks self. Everybody's a drone. Now, can we take that and look at today's time? Same thing. We are like drones. We're like giving medication to where we don't feel emotions. Back in the day, a lot of things we used to say to each other, as far as problems and things that happen, used to have a lot of more effect on your mind and your conscience and your psyche than it do now. It's almost like straight up, let me hit that weed though, man, and shit, any more of that liquor love, and it's just like that. And due to the fact, I can understand that being said and played out like that due to the fact that how the media news broadcast stuff, you know what I'm saying? They be talking about some horrific shit for a second, and then they'll go to a bounty commercial. And it's like, God damn, wait a minute, it's like a bipolar situation. You still in it, what the fuck? And they talking about, yeah, get your, we're interviewing this little boy, he made bounty profits, and he showed us how to make a whole room smell fresh after 20 brothers just got their head, mastered. It's like, come on now. But that's how they got it. And I said, like I say, it's funny that it ties into that she represents imitation on the lower side. The fact that what we see is what we imitate, undiscriminately imitate what they give us, meaning there's the things they give us to imitate. So if they wipe our memory, they give us something to imitate. It means they take the history in the past, our wisdom, our soul, and it's just the very fact of who we are. Because like whatever made you who you was 10, 5, up to 30, you still can go back farther to your past life and life before that. That's already a trace in your DNA, because if it wasn't true, then that means you wouldn't be here, you'll make this cut. So I know my grandfather's been here, having sex, recreate me. So back in the Egyptian times or way before that, you still got traces in your DNA and your memories. But now memories is almost as if it's been pushed back to imagination. So when you use your imagination, all you're doing is really remembering the things who you are. But the reason it sounds so far-fetched and way out is because it's from a time of not now. But it's the truth, and it's happening, and it's real. You see what I'm saying? Anybody follow? Anybody got any questions or concerns, anything they want to say before I proceed? I'm going to the book, the metal next to. And I'm going to break some of this offset stage down and what this mind wipe, really represents and what it means to us as a people. Anybody got any questions?
Can I add something?
Go ahead, please do.
Okay,
who is this, by the way? It sounds like Brian.
This is Brian.
Well, what up, brother? Good to hear, Brian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Think about one thing that's like when they were together, they had to touch each other. You see what I'm saying? So he had to hand off frequency to the other person. Remember that? When they sent the cheer?
Yeah. When he had to grab his palm of his hand, in his bloodline. But right. They had to touch each other. So he had to have that. Yeah, he had to have the frequency. Well, as far as the touch, what do that represent? What do you go ahead speculate on that? I'm learning.
Well, another part is where they lived. Remember, where he lived had kind of a view of seeing all the different spirits of the earth. That all that energy to help him with giving, with those memories and help him.
So it's like the Baphomet. It's the symbol of the Baphomet. The goat. The goat sit up way high and can sit on the cliff and watch down and see everything. A keen perspective. But that reminds me of the Baphomet symbol with the two horns.
And it comes into. And then another thing that he did is, and then you kind of just touched on it, is he activated Fleet's DNA. Even though he gave him the memory, what he did also is he activated his DNA so the full story would come around. So remember how?
And he will become who he always supposed to be in an instant. And so that means by them cutting off the memories, that means that he was new. He was a new man all the time. That means we always in imitation, right? Instead of growth, like evolution. Like they cut off our evolution because, Brian, if we got memory wiping, I'm gonna give you an example. I don't want you to touch bases with me on this. I say memory wipe because when back in and I know you can probably tell me more of this time in the 60s or 70s or even the 50s. We are as different people from then to now, right? Am I correct on that? But the thing is, what happened to that thin line of graduating from Black Panther, from Black Power, from Fred Hampton to something in 2017 which holds the same essence but more powerful, faster, and quicker? How the hell we get to this, to give Gucci Man a clone? So I say, would you consider memory wipe somewhere right there? Like they wipe memory being traces back to even that time?
Yeah, that's part of it. But the memory wipe can go, when a person is born, but we're not getting into that.
But definitely there's a lack of no empathy that you touched on. And let me get into something else while we're on that is the Mandela Effect. I mean, that's especially the way we learn, they've changed some of the history. And to just give you an example is it used to be a book called The Bernstein Bears. It's spelled differently now than from when I was a kid. And that's just to give you a small example of what the Mandela Effect is. And what the Mandela Effect actually is Mandela, to some people, died in prison. He didn't get out to be president. He actually died in prison.
Okay. And what do that mean? What do that mean to the corresponding brother?
So what they're doing is that they're changing some of that past that you're talking about. They're trying to change that ancestral information to something different.
Okay.
So you can't look back at it.
Okay, so in the movie, what you're saying is what they mean when they say precise language. And he said, no, he killed them. He said, no, use precise language. The fact that you see how they switched the language up to where that they was actually murdering people, but by using the word take, it made it seem like something different just off the perception.
Yeah, well, it's a lack of empathy. I mean, that's the key word is a total lack of empathy. And using the language, as I think we've touched on before, the English language just in itself is such blocking and such stopping language, where they even went further in that movie. They went further in that movie to say only this precise code of words for this.
Okay, so would I relate that to today's media, as in what they will let me come out as far as music? Only these type of words, precise language, like the shit that they play, that's gonna come out. And due to them, we're learning this precise language, meaning is that we become numb to these things in the world. Like we calling up females bitches. We say we'll kill them motherfucker every 5 hours. We don't give a fuck about care about the next man. And is this in that movie, man? It's just so much that they it's like they're telling on themselves. Am I right or wrong? I mean, did you see how the lead was, who the sons of God was? You see what I'm saying? Do you see how they actually showed their face in the movie?
Oh, yes, indeed.
Casually. And they did it casually, like just very casually. You have to be really woke to peep all of that, and I see you did in that movie. You have to be really on your P's and Q's.
Read the book. It's a book. That comes from a book. That movie comes from a book.
I've seen that. So the books will always show more than the TV, huh?
Yeah, it's just a little more in depth. And I actually didn't read the book, but my son did. So my son pieced me to it. He started breaking it down for me how the book was a little different. Because he said the book, like when they're flying at the end, he was telling me that the book, they actually go and interact with the people at the end. He said they kind of changed that. But, it still gives you the basic reference, to the point of what they're talking about. Like you said, I mean, they're putting it right into your face.
They did.
And the thing you said before is trigger words. The way they use trigger words, to make people react to certain things. You touched on that before, and it's just funny when I heard you touch on it before. It was something that I was just, because there's, like you were saying with the music. See, they can put trigger words in the music because the music, and see, this is the thing is the music used to stop the trigger words. See, when you're talking about Mozart and you're talking about Bach, they created, the Stockton trigger words. People were using certain trigger words to connect with frequency. They couldn't connect with it. And so they used trigger words to counter it. So that's how they use, that's how, the Europeans connected with frequencies using these trigger words.
Okay, so they ride the beat, and they get us to ride the beat with these artificial trigger words that's meant for something totally different or meant for another effect in our life. If you wake up in the morning and you hear, I'm in love with the cold, and you're wondering, why is you thinking this? Why am I waking up 7 o'clock in the morning and this song is in my head? That's an after effect of it being pounded in your mind. And if you waking up and you singing this, think about how that ideology just took over your mind. You thinking about it and you ain't even in the time to be thinking about the actual song. And the beat will rise you there. The beat is good. It's always good. It's a neutral thing, but it rides you there wherever the lyrics going to take you. So you get on the beat is the car. The beat is the road. The beat is the train. But where is this train going? So let me read the words. Red line, blue line, east, west, south. Bitch, hoe, slut, I got bread. I'm in love with the cocoa. You see what I'm saying? So in your ether, in your reality, it become a train ride to hell, and you don't even know it. Why do you think they play this? Why do you think they're feminizing the brother? This is mind white. We are actually, brothers never really dressed the way they dressed. They always kept a little hair on their face. They never looked too feminine, but they kept themselves together. Now it's a thing of memory wipe. When they wipe that out of our mind and instilled the Kanye West Act, you know, the new thing going with the hazel eyes. Now brothers are actually, these are not the same brothers. I can't see how we got from where we were just 10 years ago to now. Memory wipe. How the hell did this happen? So, Brian, you want to add on anything else before I go into the book?
Oh yeah, I mean, I mean, your generation and my generation. I mean, people don't dress up. I mean, there was a huge campaign, and Michael Jordan helped it to actually dress down. You know, I mean, look at pictures. Look at young pictures of young brothers in the 50s and 60s, even going to the 40s. When people went out, they always wore coats or suits.
Presentable, right? Presentable. But how did we lose that time? My connection from your generation is supposed to be my rim. Your remnant is your mastery or your realm to spill down to the remnants of my reality. But it's not that. It's barely the fathers can relate to the daddies, and they're in the same household. That's what I mean. Memory wipe. They have killed that connection, that DNA connection. They have gave us a whole nother reality than y'all, and y'all would spit y'all reality knowledge to us. But it's not compatible to this new time reality of what we're dealing with now. Am I making any sense?
Oh, indeed. I look at, I mean, it's like going with the trigger words and the mind wipe. I mean, if you look at the trigger words of the Manchurian Candidate, you know, where they can play these games, look at these phones, and all of a sudden some cat gets this information. But think about it. All along, they're feeding to go out buy guns, go out and get this ammunition. You know what I'm saying? So it's a slow process. But they can slowly give you those subliminal clues to one day they turn you on.
Mind white. Slow process. Very subtle, very subtle.
Why do you think they go get these cats? They don't have these cats being shootouts because they want to be the first one to be right there. The people that go get them is part of all this. You know, they go get this cat and they don't want nobody else to deal with them. They want certain people to go collect. And what do they say? The men in black. They say the men in black. You know,
there we go. So code words, black, the men in black. Code words again. And our set, it represents, I'm going to go into the book a little bit. This is the set stage of initiation, laying the foundation for spiritual developments. Every personality is made up of a set of abilities and limitations. We must ask questions. Who said that an individual must identify with the complex of habitual, automatic, mental, and emotional responses associated with his being? Over the ages, people have discovered over and over again that the identification with the part of our being that is the embodiment of knowledge and ability to run all subconscious register functions responsible for the operation of our physical, mental, and emotional body has enabled people to transcend the limitations of their persona, meaning the ego, as well as the manifestation abilities not shared by the majority of people, which is the stuff we're talking about now. It must be clear that God dwells in our spirit and only God can accomplish the great feats that we must manifest if we are to put the world in order. Now, what they're saying is that the ego, the archetype, the thing that they give us, as you wipe our memories, cut off our past, we can never learn from the past. It's like a flower trying to grow with no root, a tree that's not deep in the earth. All I have to do is, it looks strong, it looks big, and all that, but I know it's no root, so I know it to push it over. It can fall over. And so it's like always starting with no roots. It's just artificial future. It's an artificial future. And due to the fact, what they're saying here is that when we're born, we're given things to imitate side by side with the DNA or our history or our memories that we had passed down from generation to generation. But as we get older, one succeeds and one precedes. And what they do is actually feed us enough information, frequency waves, everything they could possibly can to succeed one, which is actually our memories, and proceed the other, which is the new information, which is giving us things to imitate or emulate. And by us being asleep or unaware or no history, meaning it's memory, a book to read from or a person, an old sage from the land that's giving us that time, we lost. We always knew. And if we always knew, we always learned. And if we always learned it, we never learned it from mistakes. So if we never learned from mistakes, we don't have wisdom. So it's like always bumping into the wall. It's like a child that never learned. You put your hand on the fire, it burns. to get up and do it again. It burns us to get up and do it again because his memory has been wiped of the experience he had doing the bullshit in the first place. So why do you think brothers go to jail? Boom, 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 because they got memory wiped. They don't think like it looked quiet outside. The birds were chirping. When nobody around, shoot, ain't nobody watching. Let me do this dirt. Okay, if it's always like that, how you get caught? Now you go to jail, you get out and you say, damn, it look quiet outside. Ain't nobody watching. Let me do this. He's not learning this to the fact that just because it don't look like nobody see him, somebody always watching. And due to the fact that he's resetting what I call reset under the Godspeed meaning science reset lit or the reset science, is the fact that he's resetting every day. And reset brings you back to memory wipe. If you got a modem and you keep pushing the reset button, you're never going to be able to get online. And that's what's happening right now. We're never able to get online, meaning hook up to the Akashic records or direct connection to God or Goddess, universe, or whatever you want to call it itself. So where your words manifest instantly. Brian, do you want to add on anything to that? While I try to find some more information on our set.
Yes. Like one of the histories that was lost, and the giver kind of showed is that telling, of keeping the information degree out, and that's kind of what rap or even hip hop was a continuation of, is telling that story. And the other thing you touched on is like you said, that people are asleep or they're just, they don't write their programs, they just follow a program. So the program is out there, like you said, they take all these cues from out in the world, and then that's what they live. Instead of
so that represents the world being in black and white as they showed it, and he had a slight ability to start seeing color. And the more he wake up and raise in vibrations, the more color he sees.
Yep. And then And then my final point is the circle of karma. People not knowing how to rise above karma. Like that person looking outside, and instead of connecting with the waves of the energy and the way the energy is going, they lower themselves to karma. We know karma is the cost. That comes around and goes around. But you can ride above the karma. But some people ride that wave with the karma. That's what they would rather do.
Memory wipe, because they're not learning from the last little thing they did, that they would go right back. They come right back to you, and when they see it, they think it just so happened. But see, people don't understand. It happened when you do something good. It happened when you think you're handing out your P's and Q's. It just ain't gonna happen when you're doing bad. It's gonna say, okay, let me get my life together. I'm a little tired. I'm crying a little bit. I'm trying to look for God, but then that's when the karma kick back, and that's the most painful and the most confusing, and that's when it's gonna happen. When you think you're trying to get it, you know what I'm saying? You're trying to get it right or do it, but see, you gotta get through that. And once you get through that I'm trying to get my life right, and it keeps shooting you down. I'm trying to do this, and that's that karma coming back, hitting you. Once you put the bulletproof vest on, get through that, then you reset with good karma. You throw good vibes out there. You do anything positive, anything, like they say, I'm all my brother's keeper. Do what you want to you as you would do unto your brother. You know what I'm saying? Do unto your brother as you would do it to yourself. So that means I'm going to help, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, producing good karma. So now I can sit back a little bit comfortable. It's like having money in the bank. You know what I'm saying? I know if I'm riding and my tire go flat due to the fact that we helping my fellow brother a month ago, that if it happened to me, even though it's low, I'm going to be cool. So the tire go flat, here comes somebody, Joe, let me help you change the tire. Matter of fact, I got a brand new one, here you go, boom. And we don't believe that because we don't give it time. We don't give ourselves enough time and enough breath to sit back and actually produce that effect. Another thing is like the computer. A lot of people have memories, but these are artificial memories. These are given memories, and they're over time they become loaded and loaded and loaded and loaded in the mind. And if you never clear these memories, you get bogged down, and they call it age or senile. And it's not the fact that you're getting old, but all these memories are giving you gravity because it's heavy, and you never clean out your computer, and they become viruses and junk files and all type of stuff. All this. What would they say? You want your computer to go fast, give it more memory. Or erase most of the stuff that it's trying to contain. A lot of these memories are unnecessary. Like most bad memories, you can wipe them out. All you have to do is cease to stop thinking about them. Before you know it, they don't hold that imprint under the L. Ron Hubbard Act. And if they don't hold that imprint, they don't hold that genetic imprint on your DNA, it don't affect you. And it don't pass down to the younger generation of these stars, these etheric stars that we got. Slavery was a big enough etheric star. And that's the memory that they always try to keep. And you see when they do memory wipe, they take all good, anything positive, anything. Fred Hampton, you barely know him. Marcus Garvey, you barely know him. Benjamin Banneker, you barely know him. A lot of stuff you barely know, but you know slavery. So we're going to go to slavery, skip all this stuff, boom, 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 and we're going right to the present time. So that's a memory they're going to let you keep. Other memories are little twinkling memories like Malcolm X. Oh, let's give them that memory. Let's put it in the disguise of as we're commemorating them and we're honoring them. Martin Luther King Drive. Okay, here goes the baby. So who is Martin Luther King? He was a great man and he had to help his people. He did everything for his people. What happened to him? He got killed. Okay, well, who is Malcolm X? He was a great man. He did what happened to him? He got killed. So these are memories that we're actually giving the child. So as he get older and want to be that great leader, he's going to say, no, but they get killed. So they let us get those little memories, those little side highway memories, and the big memory is the slavery. So you combine that with the killing of Martin Luther King and today's music, and you got a young ass nigga that don't give a fuck unless the shit going on in his own backyard. He care more about doing his drawers and match his socks. Anything you want to add on, Brian?
Well, like what you touched on at first is when you start doing things with intent, you know, and that's really what can change you, because it doesn't matter how much work you get done, it's the intent you put into the work.
Always.
That's the same thing, and that's the same thing as helping people. You know, that goes into what Dr. Clark talked about with the Yahshua consciousness that was 3,000-4,000 years old. You know, that you love your family, you help without any reward. You just help because of the love. You know, and that's something they really, you know, have changed that energy. But that's the main thing. And and let me add one thing that you were saying that people don't learn to do is also, like, people have attachments and then the memories come from out of nowhere. You know, people have memories that come out of nowhere. And most people don't just say cancel that, just like a computer. If one of your attachments, memories come into your head, just cancel that.
That's it. It's so easy.
And most people don't have that ability. They take that attachment thought as their own thought instead of just canceling it. No.
That's called external forces. Go ahead. That's external forces. That means you are in the moment. You know, it's different from being and be to live in the moment, but it's the difference with being attached to the moment. Meaning it's like he said that memory pop up. And you know it's a beautiful day, you should let it go, but you can't help yourself. And now here we go. Turn the night out, mess the whole day up, police involved. Now you send back the next day, why did I do it? But like you see, all you do is blank it out your mind, because they will give you a reality that's not real. And based off your blood type, your memories, and whatever the artificial memories they gave you, you're going to respond to the situation. And a lot of times it's just an illusion.
Oh, indeed. And another name to add to your list was in Chicago was Noble Drew Ali. We don't know very much about him, but we know he was murdered.
Right. And them brothers was powerful, and they own land and talk Caucasians. But how do we rarely hear about them? See how they wiping that memory out? If you ask one of these new guys today, the retro brothers, who is these brothers? He look at you like you crazy. That they done transfer, they done wipe the memory out that this is a new being. These little brothers right now are new beings. They're not really even connected 5 years past, not even 10 of that. These are new beings. And a lot of them, they're coming out, they spiritual. And the problem is they don't even know what this is. And if the spiritual in the male, if the spiritual is not checked or contained or put in the proper male perspective, it's a feminine aspect of man. And what happened is a lot of it, I don't know if these brothers are partly being medicated under the homosexual act, but if not, it's the fact that they're imbalanced. So when they come out super or more spiritual, as in these kids are coming out now, for a male, if you're not careful, it'll get twisted into to a female action or female tendency. You know what I'm saying? Because now this is where the father really needs to be in the house to check that spiritual side, to bring balance and order to that spiritual side. To let this brother know that, that's a feminine aspect of you. That give you your charisma. That give you your style. That give you your flex, your swag. But at the same time, I'm going to give you your discipline on that swag. And if I don't give you that discipline on that swag, you're going to be swagging a little bit too much. Am I right, Brian?
Oh, yeah, perfectly. I mean, perfectly that you have to have the male and the female energy. I mean, that's when you're talking about balancing your chakras, that's what you're trying to balance. All that. You want, like you said, you want that walk to be just a stern walk. You know, you don't want it to be shaky, as you say. You know, you want it to be stern and strong. But
you want him. Yeah, go ahead.
You can pick up that baby with those strong arms.
There you go.
Pick up that baby and kiss that baby.
complete. And what he's saying, the opposite of what he's saying is, and I'm gonna give you a picture, is a jock, or what they call a jock. I know y'all seen a lot of these how they portray on TV, this football player. He don't really got no charisma. He ain't really funny. He just black and white, like a robot. You know, I got a girlfriend. She like me. I like her. I buy a present on Valentine's Day. I buy a present on what's the name? I buy her a pair of shoes and a bra. He don't get creative in none of that, and that bores a lot of the queens. So yeah, that spiritual aspect is he know how that he don't even have to spend money. The jock who's too over male and the lack of spiritual is. He figured he has to spend money. The one who got the spirituality with the control of the father, meaning the control, the male aspect, he can contain it, meaning he can tell her, look, he gonna give her like this. Instead of spending money, he'll buy a flower, they'll be riding, they'll go by the water, he'll open a book and he'll tell her a story, right, rub her feet. And he knows with the air freshener, women are sensitive to the smell. He got the pine scent going and the water running and the water, the ocean flashing. And he telling her a story or something he wrote, and he rubbing her feet. She gone. The jock gonna go take her to the movies and buy her expensive meal. She's not gonna remember that. So Brother Street, yeah, and honor your spirituality. It helps you get, they call it, when it go a little bit wrong, it's called a pimp. That's when it go a little bit wrong. But so far, a pimp is when he in his supreme mode. He got mastery over himself, meaning all that ass around and he cannot be touched, even though it's thrown at him. You see what I'm saying? And that's one of the man's weaker points. It's like kryptonite. You know what I'm saying? That's why he got all that power, because he never, fell into the situation. I'm going to go into the book, though. The ninth spirit corresponds to our receptivity to suggestions. Imagine that now. Shadow walkers like to suggest when you're watching and all these cold trigger words, these are suggestions. Examples, impressions, models, and so on. It is in these faculties through which we learn. In the first 7 years of life, the period of the greatest learning, our receptivity is so great that we indiscriminately imitate most of what we are exposed to. Imagine that. Unfortunately, many people do not transcend this mode of behavior. 85% will that tell you. It is the influence of this faculty that makes even well-educated adults take up such purposeless and self-destructive behavior as in overindulging in certain drugs, alcohol, eating junk food, and the belief in the host of enslaving social and political myths. So basically what they're saying here is like we were just talking about the movie The Giver. The children. I don't know if you could speculate on that, Brian, how they was bringing the children in, and when the children have showed them that they have grown to their precise language and their mode of thinking, that they give them a bike. Now you can ride the bike, and the children go, and then the elders retire, then the middle age, you know, sense like a college or something. And Tavistock Institute and social engineering is all geared towards understanding the psychology of man. That way, they know in these first years that they can give you images of where it's like a sponge. You're not even discriminating about the things you're looking at, and you're soaking in all these images. And the parents around you, which is supposed to be your fortress, you're supposed to block most of what you see. And if they do let it come through, be able to explain to you what it is, don't. So now you're soaking it up. And by the boy 17 years old, you never even asked him how you feel about God. So you ask him, who you think God is, and he tell you Santa Claus. And you like, whoa. And all this time, that's why he's been fucked up in the head, tripping and fighting and doing crazy shit, because he always thought God was Santa Claus, and nobody never told him. Brian, anything you want to add on?
Like I said, that was really deep. I mean, I love that, because and Santa Claus is really perfect. So it's a total total lack of what reality is, you know. And it's not. He doesn't even know himself, but he doesn't know even know anybody that knows himself. See, that's the sad part.
That's the sad part, and that's memory wipe, where he's a new being. Everybody has a culture. We as a black people got to understand our culture been wiped. Our memory's been wiped. You know, the Hispanic casually pick up on the lawnmower and certain things he got to do around the house naturally, and he been ingrained in it to where if he work 14, 15, 20 hours a day, he do it with a smile. At least that's in his memory, that he became evolved in doing that, where he can master time and sit there all that time and get paid. Brother can't do that. the Chinese, in their way, you don't never see Chinese in jail. You don't never see Chinese locked up. You don't even see them dealing with the police, but they're always smiling and making that bread. In their culture, they're mastered the art of ninja. It's in their DNA, so it's evolved to a way of life where they don't even have to think about it. Who else? Because the European, you see what they do? They practice unempathy, no empathy. You know what I'm saying? Robotic mode, how not to give a fuck about your ass and still love their own. And they mastered their craft. But where are we getting our culture? Where are we getting our memories from? Where are we pulling from? I don't see Black Town. I see Chinatown. I see Hispanic land. I see the language. I see yours, Old Park. I see Eurocentric. I see, North, but I don't see Black Town. I don't see none of that. So where are we emulating, or do we become absorbed into where everybody else is? And what is that? Are we white man? Are we American? What is that? Where we absorb, where we connected? Where we got to start from? Where's our point of reference? Where's our memories? A hieroglyphic mind frame, like Brian said, was a period of time when we cared for our fellow man. The weather was much nicer. The oxygen was much richer, all because of our mind thought, our thoughts, the way we breathed each other in the land. That was a memory that we had, and there was time from the 50s, the 40s, the 60s, it was still there. All of a sudden, it came somewhere between the 60s and 70s that they started mind wiping us, meaning they got a hold of new technology. When they started building the computers, they built it under the mind frame of the mind. They took that same thing, put it in the computer, and said, okay, I can put a virus in here. How can I put one in the mind? You flooded with a whole bunch of disagreeable stuff so much that's not part of the body that it just keep coming in because until it duplicates itself. Which they call cancer or anything of that nature. A disease is really a virus that duplicated itself. Many years listening to the same music, watching the same stuff, eating the same food. And what do we eat? You see what I'm saying? We got fast food at home. Well, how come it's not in the restaurants? If we had a memory, we don't remember Africa because the African brothers and sisters over here don't remember us. So how can we remember anything? And I try to grasp memories when I talk to them, and I can't tell. I'm so far away from it that I can't taste it, I can't feel it, I can't smell Africa when they speak the language and they describe the land. Because I'm trying to weave and bob like dude in the movie. He's trying to get to that certain boundary points where he can break free through the images that they showed me since I was a baby, which was the little fat brown belly one with all the flies around. That shit pumped in my head before anybody ever told me that one real. I was 19 years old. So they wiped all the memories and gave me that. And that's the new memory. That's the artificial memory. So as I go from 10, 5, up, flip over to 20, those memories that I have made are all artificial due to the fact that everything I connected to was wiped out and everything was coming from the forward towards me, meaning it's future. A created artificial future for my memories to be my past. Man, you got anything you want to add on it? Because this is a segment of how they think I handle this. To their brother.
Yeah, because exactly what you described happens to a lot of people. I mean, take a dude who hooped in high school and then he don't hoop no more. Where does he get his excitement from? The secondhand memory of watching people hoop.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Where did he get his excitement from? And brothers need to hold on to that basketball feeling, that drawing, the art, that creative side to you. All of us used to play the saxophone and really have that inspiration. What happened? It ain't the fact that we become less motivated due to the fact that we're not motivated. You could say that, but it's actually what we have our guardians have allowed to come into our sight and penetrate that Joseph, that imagination. You know what I'm saying? Joseph had a coat of many colors. He had a very good imagination. Meaning he did his thing with a thing that meant that he'll be king. And his brother's like, nigga, goddamn, get off that bullshit. Get on your grown man. I'm sitting here on Dubs and Rims. I got a job paying $90,000 an hour. You know what I'm saying? Get on your grown man. I'm getting mad. I got hoes. I'm doing all this. Get on your grown man. Joseph like, no, I'm building. I'm doing this. I'm going to be king. They're like, no, I threw him in a well. They threw him in darkness and doubt. But in that darkness, he still remained in his mind that I would be king. And due to the fact that while they kicking it and doing all that extra humping just to be man, just to be, whatever they call it, the ego, to fulfill the ego, Joseph was laying back in darkness saying, I would be king. So the Good Samaritan family came back and got him out, picked him up, took him to the land, he became king. So he was in a higher position in life just off the ability to hold a certain thought of God in his mind so long that it manifested. And all he did was sit back in darkness, and these brothers are ragged and old and tired. Had to look at that and doing all that extra shit. All they had to do was remain thought that I would be king. Anybody got anything they want to add on? before we continue. I might go into the book after that one.
Yeah, let me add on to what you said about Joseph, because Joseph's real name, the real person that they based it on was, maybe I'm saying it wrong, but it's Yavi. And Yavi was actually Antonakin's grandfather.
Come on, talk to me. I didn't know this. I'm learning.
Yeah, the story of Joseph is a real cat that they found his thing in the Semitic line of the Egyptians.
Okay.
So
why did they use this story, Reed? So why did they what does this story relate to? What does this relate to this? It's back to thinking in hieroglyphs, like what this is about, huh? It's all go back to hieroglyphs, huh?
I mean, if you think of what Antonakin said is, we believe in the Atman. It wasn't the sun. He's saying that universal power, that universal energy that's flowing. That's what, but, of course, they want to say it wasn't the sun. It was that universal flow.
But the sun is something that if I want to draw it and put it on paper and give you an idea in the hieroglyphic mind frame of what I mean, that'll be perfect to use, right? And that's all it was a symbol. Like it was an all-powerful energy. Okay, I'm not gonna look around. How can I describe that tree? He said, no, that's under the all-power energy. The air, I can't put the arrow in and show nobody. Damn, that bright glare right there. Damn, that's what gets us up in the morning. That is, I'm gonna use that, put it on this wall, boom, 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 and this is Ra. And Ra is the giver of all life. And when he was telling people around at that time, they knew what it was. Like, okay, that's what we gonna call our body, that energy for us, that chi. We need that. That's the first thing. Wake up in the morning and pray to, or just give thanks to. Boom. But the people in the field under the fact that they don't, whatever, just workers or whatever, they said, well, that's God. And then everybody knew that. Well, you can call it God too, but it ain't. It's God is much bigger than that. But anything you want to add on B?
No, I mean, indeed. I mean, one thing that too, if you look at what really real fifth dimension is, the air is just something that's blue, and fire is just something that's red. It ain't got no heat. It ain't, it's just something that's red. When you're talking about just pure space, no illusion, just pure space, and you have those kind of real things. It shows itself. It tells you its name.
So what they'll do is take an animal. They'll say, how can I describe fire? I take a jackal. How can I describe air? I just take a hawk. You see what I'm saying? To make the hawk head man, however, how can I, and they use some of those things around them to put them in walls and hieroglyphs. And these hieroglyphs told you a story within itself, to where you thought quick, because it was like, instead of a whole bunch of 450 page book, it was in all image that was already explained to you in throughout your lifetime, like A, B, C, D, D. This means, and you get the 4 drawn from this image. And you can go to the next image, just something like China be right. How they write in some.
But their writings all add up. See, we speak a language that doesn't add up. I got a young cat that he's a minister and staying with my family for the summer, and he's studying Hebrew. And Hebrew, almost every symbol adds up. Just a symbol by itself. And then when you put the words together, the words add up. And then once again, it's that right to left, trying to turn that right brain on that right to left type of reading that adds up. And you get English, it doesn't add up. What we're saying doesn't add up. It's a blocking language. It doesn't add up. And that's one reason why they push, they pushed it on. And so,
and they pushed
to stop our spirituality.
And it's doing a good job.
And what did you say about the that movie with Jodie Foster in it? They need to where she went, and talked to the aliens. She went on that roller coaster, remember that? And she said the artist should have went instead of me. Remember you had mentioned that?
Yeah, the artist, we should have sent the poet.
I can't even put this into words.
I can't describe it. We should have sent a poet. Maybe he could have told us. And that's real. And that's real. That's real. The ability to express the unseen thing in a colorful manner, in a way that people can understand it with your imagination. If it's just like he said, the rocket scientist, he was too left brain. He was too 1, 2, 3, 4. He thinking in numbers and ones and zeros. He can't describe it like that. He got to, put it into a computer and see it like that. But the poet can show you or paint a beautiful picture in your mind. And that's how we used to rap. That's what our music used to be like. Give you a picture. Everybody was going through something, and the music was feeding everybody that went through something. And then you had 3 or 4 songs that pertained to the super ego, meaning I get down, I pick it, I do what I do. But now it's all I do what I do. You know, you got brothers. Yes.
You know, I grew up in the 60s and 70s with love music, you know, and I grew up near Motown. Matter of fact, I knew several of the Motown cats, and, you know, love music. And being a young cat that can take that love music and then to do your pimping, to be like Bert Slim, you know, to say them lines in the right time, in the right mood, and feel those energies, and feel that female energy and be able to relate to it. You know, where is that?
Pop Lock. How the hell did the white boy take over our art of dancing, which was us, Pop Lock? How did they take over that? How did they do the Egyptian dancing, which is Pop Locking? Meaning is I'm showing you the ability to move from the unseen to the seen, and I'm showing you how I do it. And when you look at a person Pop Locking, that's a hieroglyph in motion. It's like a gift. You know what I'm saying? And it's very powerful. We have been brought down to the fact that we let the Asians do it, and the only Pop Locking we don't do it is the twerk. And that's another ancient dance that when you're in the higher self, it wakes you up. It kicks off the chakras, but when you're in the lower self, you make him horny, and he want to exert himself. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, indeed. Yeah, they called it the dog at one time. You know, the type of movement was long ago was called the dog. And so
you said the dog,
Yeah, they called it the dog, and they banned the dog. And I remember hearing my mom talk about it in the late 50s, early 60s. And then in my generation, it turned into the freak and then into the alligator.
Okay, well, how do you see your real time span? I want to do a little time travel in which I want to see a hieroglyph, and I want you to take me to a time of when you seen in your time frames compared to how it looks now. What have you seen just either under mind wipe have they done to us? What have you seen they took out? I know you got a far range than I do.
See, that pride. Just that pride in self, and with no ego, just be prideful to leave the house. That has changed.
How did that feel? What do you mean? I don't understand. I'm foreign to that. What do you mean pride to leave the house?
Just to wake up in the morning and put yourself together before you face the world. To have that pride in yourself, not just throw on clothes and go out, but actually put yourself together. And so you face
wait, hold on. But the only way we do that now is we got a lot of money. So did you have a lot of money? You had to have a lot of money to do that, or did you just do that just off like whatever?
No. You just what you had, you made work, and you ironed your clothes so you look neat. So if you had 2 pair of jeans or 2 pair of khakis, whatever it was always pressed. So
how did the sister respond to that? Did she look at what type of pants you had on, or did she honor the fact that you was clean? I mean, how did?
Yeah, that's how the sister related to you. He takes care of himself. He looks pressed. Remember the word?
So it wasn't about the fact that I spent $1,000 on the belt. I could spend about $10 as long as the belt clean and new. I'm decent. Is what you said. That was a time like this.
It was a time like that where now it was always exorbitant. You know, it was always that. But I'm just saying the basic brother could hire somebody just taking care of himself and be impressive to a female and not spending all that. Not saying, you know, the name brand. No, this is just me, but this is how I come to you and your family, because I come to your family with intent. You know, and serious.
So when did you see the shadow walkers come in? Well, I know you seen where Agent Smith came in. What time? What did he do? How did he get us?
Think about what hippies was. I mean, when it changed, what hippies was, where the free love, no respect, no courting, you just come live with it. You just come live in my community. You know, I don't care about your folks. Your folks is anti. So I don't want help from the elders anymore.
That's the hippie mentality. You mean the hippie mentality? They grab their own kids and use them to push over the hippie mentality on us. Is that what you said?
Well, I mean, that was kind of a start of it. I mean, it was a rebellion kind of thing. But if you really looked at the formalness of when people met, that's when it really started to change, was through the hippies. And then, you know, if you really, like, you talking about when the mindlessness started, if you looked at what disco, you know, turned into disco music. Because, you know, disco music, you had songs that was 20, 30 minutes. So 20, 30 minutes of a beat and trigger words. You know, that's what the disco thing was. It was like you ain't have to know nothing, you know. You just went and saw somebody at a club And like you said, your car, your outfit, chick would go for it. It's a movie. Oh, it's a movie where a dude is flashing around his Porsche key.
Okay, so they started with the TV. They started with the media, what I call the Decepticon. Okay,
exactly.
like Dolomite. And what was the other movie that they was what's his name? The one that the other brother, the one that Superfly. Yeah, that type of stuff. Okay, and so it's like to us it'll be Boys in the Hood, or it'll be stuff like Boys in the Hood and movies like things of that nature. Okay, so they just kept the program running. They kept wiping out the old us and recreating us since that time, huh? And then now, but is our president black man matching up to the black man back then? Do it seem like something happened? I know. I mean, is the line connected, or did they erase something and start scribbling between the lines?
One of the most beautiful things I can remember about my youth is, and you talk about Fred Hampton and all them, and I met Fred as a young boy. I think I was 8 or 9 when I met him. But anyway.
And he was young. Right? So I didn't know he was young thinking like that. What happened, JB? What happened to us?
But you know, this connection.
They took the lights on and wiped us. Go ahead.
But there was a connection with us as a people that when you threw it up, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I guess you could say it in Black Power, but anywhere you went in the country, you saw a brother and you threw it up to him and he would throw it back. And so you would instantly get that connection with somebody. Or, you know, even like when brothers was like, amongst each other, you could do that head nod with somebody. You know what I'm saying? Well, you telepathically speaking to him. But you telepathically speaking to him. You know, you see, okay, I'm checking you out, brother. We mingling here. You know what I'm saying? That telepathic connection. You know, and that's been severed too. But that was a good time in the country where you could just throw it to a brother and the brother give it back to you. You know, and we don't have that anymore.
And that's left. They fear each other, right?
We fear each other. You know, really.
So they wiped that.
About it. Oh yeah.
They wiped that and implanted new under the artificial memory, which is Boys in the Hood, Minister Society. That's the artificial. And the good brother, I see how they wiped them out, because the brother that was like, man, we brothers, man, why is we robbing each other and gangs? Like, I don't care about all that. Get out the car. Or in 8 Miles, when the brother that was talking that thread line that he still had his memories, they was wiping them when they said, man, get your butt in the back seat talking all that mindfulness knowledge shit. And every time they show that type of brother, that's what they do to him. Am I right or wrong? They try to do their belly.
He's ignored. Yeah, the consciousness is ignored.
And memory wiping then. Okay, artificial memories. That's an artificial memory. He's ignored. So if this being played throughout time, after a while, due to a memory wipe and an artificial memory implanted in you, you're not the same person. Am I right or wrong? You're not even the person you're supposed to be. You're like clay.
Yes, indeed. The culture, you know, they changed the culture. You know, they interrupted a culture that once existed. They don't have that together. They don't have that telepathy being around each other. I mean, that's what they attacked. And that's
so. Is this our culture? Is this our culture we witnessing, or is this somebody else's memories we kicking in with?
Yeah, we're running their program. I mean, the majority of us are running their program that they wrote, instead of every one of us living our own program. They're writing their own program.
False memories, new humans, artificial beings.
Yeah.
Let us make man in our own image and likeness. Wow.
Yes, indeed. It's I mean, like you said with the slave movie you mentioned earlier. I mean, why do you think they keep saying that? Why do you think they keep pushing that? And then when they give props to people, it's like entertainment. It's like they made the Jesse Owens movie, they made the Jackie Robinson movie. You see what I'm saying? Entertainment.
Entertainment purposes only. Exactly. Entertainment purposes only. Okay, this is all entertainment purposes only.
What I call the make me laugh list. You know what I'm saying? Make me laugh.
And a lot of brothers your age probably, they love those movies. I noticed they love those make me laugh movies, man. Oh yeah, they love those. They don't want to know nothing serious. They just want to finish out their artificial memory, and then I guess go to heaven. You know, however that may be.
That's you know in the heaven that they're really pushing now is more fourth dimension illusional. You know, that's what they're pushing on people. is you make it to the fourth dimension. And yes, you can have angels all around you, but it ain't gonna last. You might get it for a minute, but it ain't gonna be angels through eternity. It goes right back to that reincarnation. They're gonna wipe your memory, so you ain't gonna know that past life. All that you work for, they're gonna wipe that memory and put you right back in. And you've seen how the Buddhists do it. They show you people who do you want to go to, because they say babies choose their parents. But that's the system that we live under. They do that to us too. That's a part of mind wipe, where a person can't build on. Like if you live 1,000 years, all you remember. You know what I'm saying? Even if they had to break it up, you still would remember this 1,000 years and how to go through things. But no,
that's what I'm. That's Godspeed. That's what I'm realizing. The ability that I have is the fact that I have become intact with a lot of my memories through times and eons and lives and lives. That's why I'm able to talk. The type of stuff I say might seem like it's stargating, but it's the fact that I have experienced this. I have felt that it have been a reality, and it's I'm connected, and but it's all formulated into today's time, meaning the present. So it's just like the Akashic records. It's very powerful information, a thing to have in your mind. I don't really read books anymore. I have become the book. I have practiced the ways to see what this is really about. Like I don't eat. I did that to see if I can master mind over matter. Yeah, I did it. So I practiced something else. The feminine aspect, like Kanye West say, I cannot be faithful in a room full of hoes. It must be the Pharisees in tune with my soul. And that's one of the last parts of initiation is the fact that can the man, he go through all them trials and the Indiana Jones lick in the pyramid, all these trials and tribulations, which in reality mean life. And if he make it through that, by the age 35, 40 years initiation, he get a female. And if he touch a booty, they do all that, they cut his head off. And it is Joe. After all that, you fall to sensuality, no matter how much memory you got, you still going to lose. So that's the first thing they say, and behold the pale horseman there, and anoint their king, the king of Israel, or their king, who they call whoever going to be, he must not fall to sensuality, or he become delusional and confused in mind under the, what they call that dude, Bill Clinton Act. You know what I'm saying? That's just a slight example of it, the Bill Clinton Act, And that's one of the things they don't play. They keep the chiefs and the elders, the mother chief ejected 12 elders that's on the spaceship looking down, or however you want to call it. They don't play that. Like, the initiation not fall to the lower nature like that under the Sex Act, because it confuses the mind. You should still display love, but it should not control them. And tonight's show was brought to you by GodspeedMe.com. If you haven't signed up, sign up. It's GodspeedMe.com, and a lot of this is built off ancient hieroglyphic thinking, how to think in hieroglyphs, and mostly based off the metal nectar. Because it's the farthest I know I can go back, and that's still intact, that I can at least get an understanding. I tried and tested most things, but this is the one that actually works. And I got my memory back. And I always have my memory. It was faint memories of things that I never knew. It was like a dream you had. You keep going to the same place in your dream. That was an actual place you used to be. You like, how the fuck do I know how to construct the same place in my dream? And I keep going to the same place. You have memories, like flying. You have memories of the time you used to fly. But you fly good as hell in your dreams, so that means you really think you're flying, and you actually feel how to do it in the world. But, memories ain't strong enough. The more memories you get of your connection to your past, the lighter you get in vibration. The meaning is the things you've been through, they always say you got to go through hell and get to heaven. So if you have a pile of memories, not artificial memories, but actually memories based off experiences and lessons in life that's transcend eons and eons of time. Believe me, the present person will be somebody supreme. You got to be. You know what I'm saying? You can't fall. You ain't falling for these okie dokes. You put your hand in a fire. You ain't got to do it. You can look at it, feel the heat when you touch it, and say, okay, I know that's hot. Instead of actually put my hand in there, the burn person, then say, I know that's hot. You get past a lot of bullshit, save a lot of money, and you keep a lot of friends, and your family's intact.